What's up? Let's see. I got audio. What are you guys doing? Let's see what's going on tonight. Let's see. Oh, we got a couple people in here. We got 3 left, right? Probably nobody around tonight, or nobody cares. That's really what it is. Let's see. See, Backwoods says, "Hey, Art." He says, "Where is everyone tonight? This is crazy." Robert says, "Tune up that classic guitar." Yeah, no, I don't have it anymore, so I sold it. I'm just going to show you guys that. And I found some other stuff, too. I wanted to show you from last week. Brett says he's sorry he's late. He's doing movie night. TJM, what's up, TJ? Guys are saying, "Helly dilly dilly." Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you fellows. I got some cool stuff going on tonight. Get started with that in a minute. I'm just kind of settling down. It was a crazy week this week. So, just weird. Just didn't get a lot done. Yeah, I sold it. So that's what I'm going to show you tonight and kind of how I started my YouTube channel, which we'll get to that in a little bit. Johnny Bravo's here. He says, "Hey, you guys, had my son's birthday bash here tonight." Nice. Happy birthday. Everybody just left, so I got a mess to clean up. Wow. Oh, yeah. Brett says he just uploaded a new video. Maybe we'll check that out a little bit later on. But, yeah, it was kind of like a weird week. I was trying to get stuff done. I just didn't get a lot of the stuff I wanted to get done, but I did get a few things done. One of the problems we had was early this week, we had a water main break down by the firehouse, down the block that way. And so there was no water. And then they kind of fixed it, I guess just patched it together. And then once they do that, the water that comes out in the house is just puke. So you have to spend time getting that out of everything. And then I kind of went back to work for a little while. And then it happened again, except this time I woke up late. And, you know, my diabetes sugars were high, and I really needed to drink and make coffee. And we generally don't have any bottled water around because I don't like to drink out of plastic. It's not good. So what wound up happening is I have a pitcher that I fill with water. It's got a filter in it. And then usually at night, like I fill the coffee machines and I fill the pitcher. And a lot of times I'll have out here, I'll fill this up with cleaned water and whatever. And none of that, whatever I did, I guess they used it all up before they went to work. So I get up, I didn't realize it, but I had just enough to make a cup of coffee. And I was like, oh crap, I have no water, and everything else in the house has got sugar in it or something. I'm like, this is bad. So the water was off. So I said to my daughter, I told my daughter, and she's like, all right, I'm going to do DoorDash, a couple of cases of water. So that was good. Once that came, because you get really, really thirsty and you just can't function. You can't get the sugar out of your body because my pancreas is malfunctioning. Yeah, pure water filter might be the one that you need. I have a water filter, but it's a pitcher, but you have to fill it. And there was no water to fill it with. There was nothing in it. You know, it had like this tiny little bit in the bottom. And there was just nothing that I could do except my daughter got a couple of cases of this stuff. So that kind of threw me off because then you can't get your sugars under balance and you don't have any energy if, like, you know, either if you're really low on sugar or if you're too high, it's not where it's in. Yeah, I think it's like a Brita pitcher. Yeah, Brett, I think it's what it is. So we were talking about getting a whole house filter, except the problem with that would have been is that this would have completely destroyed it. I would have had to replace all the elements and clean it all out because when they turn the water back on, they do a purge, but it just, all of that rust comes up. And it's rust and scale and gack. And then fortunately, it got warmer, so I was able to open up the hose bibs, and I let a lot of it run out that way in the air and everything. And so it was the other day, it was like yesterday or something. It was getting a little bit late, and I opened up the bib back here, and I let it run for a little while. That's a long run, though, but I figured I'll just pull it out, and I could smell tons of chlorine, you know, because they would need to, like, over-treat the whole area because you would have like Giardia and God knows what else is floating around. Usually that stuff sort of hangs to the side and you don't, I mean, what are you going to do? It's municipal water. Oh, it's just that pure water filter pitcher is another one that I want. Yeah, it definitely is a good idea. Brett says, I got one, but I haven't used it since I got a fridge with water and ice through the door. Yeah, but does that have a filter, right? You want it filtered. You want your water filtered. A lot of municipalities put chlorine and fluoride in it, and that you don't want, plus whatever else might come through. And you don't see it, right? You don't see, because I kept pouring it into glasses and trying to hold it up to the light and check it, and it's got this tinge in it. And you, even when it's clear, especially after something like that, even when it's clear, you still have no idea, right? And I could tell when I took a shower that night, like you feel like it's hard water, you know? And we don't generally have that problem. So, I've been thinking about getting another one of these pitchers and or a reverse osmosis, which will get out everything. So your fridge has a filter on the back, Brett? That's good if it does. How often do you change it? Because, you know, it's funny because I forget what they say, but I think it's something like a average human between like the shower and flushing the toilet, we go through like something like 30 gallons a day. I mean, I drink a lot of water. I have to. And I drink coffee. So coffee, you know, CAWFEE. But, so it's just kind of a weird week. So I did a couple of cool things got going on. Let's see. Just kind of easing into it. I rested a lot today, just to make sure that I had enough energy. It was raining. It was kind of cold. So it's like one of those days. Robert says, old school water lines are made of old school pipe plus copper pipes. Yeah, some of these are probably concrete. And then they came finally and they dug up the street over here by where the fire hydrant is. So they got the street all dug up and they're cutting slices out of it. And it was really bad after that. And like the toilets, everything has like a film in it. So I'm going to have to open up the toilet tanks and go in there with a little cleaner and slosh that around. And see, I got like a 60-gallon hot water heater. And the problem is that I'm going to have to drain that too, as soon as it gets a little bit nicer out. It's in the basement, so I won't be able to drain all of it, but at least I'll be able to run a hose up and out of the door and force some of what's on the bottom to come out, but it'll stir up the tank and I'll have to push a lot of that out. Hopefully they're done. It looks like they are. You know, so Brett says it's ready for a change. I made tang from it daily. Yeah, and thanks for the chat earlier this week. Yeah, that was fun. Jamie O's, the asbestos was used in manufacturing of wastewater lines. Flint, Michigan. Yeah, right? Now the main trunk line is made of plastic pipe. Yeah, a lot of them, they do that. And that has its issues, too. So, you know, they do the best you can with what you got. You know, I think a good filter for the house, not necessarily a reverse osmotic or anything, but just take a good, you know, solids and impurities style filter, drop it in the house, and that'll protect some of it. Because like I said, we don't really have hard water, but shit comes through. There's not a lot you can do it. That's why we filled the pitcher. But if you get a bit more of like a decent filter for the mains before it comes into all the pipes. Now, the other thing I was thinking too is I might want to go around with the heating system and waste some of that water out into a bucket. That I can do, and I think I might do that. And the balance valve will try to refill it because it might have a lot of junk in it. So I'm going to check that sometime this week or maybe even tomorrow. I'll just throw a bucket on it just to check it. I think they're done. So that's one of the problems is that I had a feeling they weren't going to be done this week because it was a pretty big break. And, you know, this is a fairly main section here, so they probably did a good job by going through everything. We used to have, at the local fire department, they used to have more volunteers, but, you know, with the way things are, it's very hard to have a lot of volunteers. And these guys would go around and for two reasons, you know, they would check all of the fire hydrants and then they would do a quick flush, right? Which was a good thing to do anyway. So that was like a cooperation with the community, but they kind of stopped doing it. And the other thing is that they would go around when it snowed a lot and they would check their assigned, you know, fire hydrants and stuff and whatever else they had going on. And then they would do what they could to dig it out, or they would make lists, or they would just check them off. And I don't think they do any of that. We don't have enough volunteers for this stuff. Yeah, most refrigerators have some kind of like a line filter, but I don't know how good that is. You know, like what's it made out of? You know, I mean, I don't have much. I'm just using mostly just the filter and the charcoal, which absorbs a lot of the gack. So that should be pretty cool. So we got some cool stuff coming up. So let's see what we got coming up. So tonight we're going to break into some shorts in a little bit. And the question came up, I think it was like last week or whatever. And my friend, my good friend, Arthur, asked me, do you believe in all this crap with the Satanism and everything? I said, it's not a matter of what I believe in. It's what other people believe in and how they act on it and how their bubble affects your bubble. So this guy, Kenneth Copeland, we'll let you decide. So I'm going to play a little short in a little bit. And plus some cool other stuff. So we'll get to that in a bit. And you decide. You know, it's just a question, and watch the short and see what you think. And, of course, backed by popular demand is that Chinese band I played last week. And you guys are cracking me up with some of the stuff he was saying. One of the guys is like... He was like, oh, who is that? I want that guy. I want to hear it again. I'm like, what band is that? And I'm like, yeah, so you can maybe find it on like iTunes or something and put it on your playlist, right? One of you guys were like, I know Led Zeppelin when I hear it, right? I think one of you fellas named the band Ledge Zeppelin. So we're going to play a little bit of Ledge Zeppelin tonight in a little bit. Check this band out. Again, backed by popular demand. And then, of course, my 1969 Les Paul. So kind of how I started. I'm going to show you guys that short and kind of how I got started on YouTube and how bad the equipment was. And you'll see it because it's very poor quality audio. I did the best I could. This is something that you probably wouldn't want to show anybody. But I had to sell the guitar, and I had the guitar for a very long time and never got to play it. And I played it for about 4 weeks before I sold it. But we'll get into that story. Lithium-ion batteries. I just got a battery, and I forgot all about it. It is a tractor-sized battery, and it may even fit in a jumper pack. And I was trying to work with a company with some lithium-ion batteries. And I forgot all about it. Maybe it was just on the slow boat from China or something. And it showed up today. So we're going to take a look at that. And of course, I made a tool right here, and I'm wondering what you guys think of it. And eventually, I'll show you some teasers of that. Here, can we get a closer look at that a little bit? And you guys can think about, well, what the heck is it? And you can guess on that one. Let's see if we can get a little closer look over here with the side camera here. Let's see. All right, so these are two pieces. It's made from a bolt. This is like a half-inch bolt or something. Stainless steel. It's got a hole in it. I drilled a hole in it. And it's got a slot that I cut right there. Yeah. And that's the hole. Okay, and this is still part of the tool. It's an extra drill bit. So you guys can think about what it is that Arch made. What did Arch do? So we're going to talk a little about that later, and you guys can try and guess what that was or is. But I think we should just do first, because I don't stand on ceremony, so why go in order with anything, right? Let's take a look at Ledge Zeppelin again real fast. Let me set that up because these guys are hilarious, I just got such a kick out of them. Let me set that up. Turn this off. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if it comes up. These guys are awesome! Sing it! Ha-ha, yo! Drum roll! Ladies and gentlemen, Ledge Zeppelin! Nice touch. Here we go. Drum break. Kick it. I love it. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Oh, I'm telling you, boys, we got to form like a consortium or something and get out there, get over there, see if we can find these people and sign them, right? Get them signed, see if we can get them, maybe a record contract. But if not, let's just repackage this tune and we'll have them add a little bit more cowbell. Right, so we got to add some more cowbell into this. Bring them into the studio. Try not to change too many things. Maybe we can catch a little bit of the scenery or whatever, like for like stage thing later on. Get some more cowbell into that, and then try to get them signed. And maybe we can get them on like iTunes or something. Get them out there. Maybe like another YouTube video. We'll put them on the show, and it's going to be a big hit. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Hey, Edward. Oh God. Could be a Z-bender. Oh, a Z-bender. Oh, listen. I actually have a Z-bender. I could not use it to save my life. Like, I just was having such a hard way to go. I think it was too small for the rod that I was using. Yeah, I like these guys. Definitely like these guys. Let's get to the next segment here. Right now, we're going to go play around with this next one and let me know what you guys think at the end. Right? Robert says the lead singer is smoking a lot of marijuana. You think so? He says, hey, get them to do our Summer Grease song, right? Yeah, that would be great. But it would be in like Chinese, though. Those guys are so awesome. I love them. I wish we could meet them, right? Have them on the show for real, set them up in here. Led Zeppelin. So big shout out to them. All right, let's get to the next thing here. Let's just take a look.
Mom?
Yeah?
I just want to say sorry for everything I've done in the past, and I swear I'll never fucking...
Oh! Oh! Oh, I love her. Oh! Oh, yeah. Raising the kids right. Yes! Going down. Now, tell me you guys have never wanted to. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, fellas. You know that you guys wanted to do this, all right? And it's a Toro. So don't lie to me. That's awesome. Look at this. Nice lawn. This guy's got like a mint lawn. It's awesome. Look at that. That's like a carpet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, so much for that battery. Whoops. Nice demonstration. Oh, no! Stop! Oh, read this one. Yeah, there you go. My daughter took this picture here on Long Island.
In 1995, my dad was the manager of a flooring store. His yearly salary, he could afford a yearly vacation for my mom to stay home with my brother and I, 2 kids and 2 cars, and a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a whole unfinished basement. His salary was $40,000.
Not anymore.
I worked years ago with a jean manufacturing company, and they didn't make their jeans here. It was a big national brand, one of the biggest. And I said, can't we just do one little vertical of purely American made, right? Just so we could just put it out there and say, we're trying. And they said, well, we have tried. And I said, what happened? And they showed me the research, and it's hard to believe. But what happened was, if you put this pair of jeans on a shelf next to a pair of jeans that's 100% made in the USA, and you charge $2 more for the exact same pair made here, you'll sell 0. If you charge $1 more, you'll sell 0. If you charge 50 cents more, you'll sell 0. This big giant textile manufacturer, one of the biggest in the country, showed me the data. It went all the way down to a penny. If you charge 1 penny more, that's when they started to see some people buying the US version. Only when it was dead equal did you see people
choosing the American product.
Correct.
Fascinating.
And apocryphal and powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting statistic. White guys view black women differently than black guys. And these statistics don't lie. interracial divorce rates. This is pretty interesting. A black man and a white woman are 200% more likely to be divorced. An Asian man and a white woman are 59% more likely to be divorced. An Asian woman and a white man are 4% more likely to be divorced.
Well, that's not too
But
bad,
this is
fellas.
the crown of the study. A white man and a black woman are 44% less likely to get divorced.
Well, I know what I'm doing.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? My sister.
My sister. Oh. 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 Ooh.
Think you are today.
Hey, Brother
We
Copeland.
learn about this
Check this guy out. Now, you tell me.
covenant of God.
Yeah, huh? Yeah.
The blood of this covenant, glory to God. Cut the covenant with his father God.
Oh, boy.
Yes, like Moses of old. There's they're coming one.
Oh, boy.
Don't ever do it. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever do it.
No, okay.
Absolutely stunning. Sis.
Oh,
Delicious.
hissing like a snake.
It's so good. And he will be like Moses, and he'll live 120 years. And he said, yeah. Preach it, brother, preach it, brother, preach it. Just before. And we have a healing covenant. Dwells in me, the pure, spotless blood of God.
Whoa.
And as it was performed
Step back.
for me.
He's hissing again.
He's my blood brother, and my father is my friend. And as he is, so are we in this world. Glory to God, I don't have it. I never will have it. And I don't mind telling you, I'll never be sick
Yeah,
again
exactly.
in my life hereafter forever. Not one time. I will never. Say what?
Uh-oh.
Today, we know your mama. Days
Oh,
of my
easy.
life.
He's made my mama in there.
Thank God they finally got something nice looking up here.
Uh-oh.
No, gorgeous would be a better word. I love your eyes.
Oh, this is short and this is too short.
The law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh. The minute they said flesh, I don't know why, I immediately thought about sex.
I know why.
Enjoying sitting out while they are fueling my airplane.
Ooh.
She go on. C'est vraiment pas prevediste cinematographique. En ganhando os doxico pukula namen vremenesto.
Yeah, watch out.
Hamalana.
It's in tongue.
Enkren in stilest karatak.
Oh, shit.
The Israelis. Greater is he that's in me than he that's. And if I've left out anything, forgive me. And Father, anything you need, any.
He don't need nothing. You
What
need
is
it.
this? Oh, Brother Copeland. Oh, brother, don't start frowning. It's a gift. It's a gift. Take it. You need
No,
help
thanks.
in your
I'm good.
God bless your darling heart.
I don't
Then
need
you
that
ought to be
gift.
helped. But I'm going to tell you something. You need to be tithing off that help.
Oh, yeah.
That's your increase.
Give it to me.
You need to be tithing that. Well, dear Lord, Brother Copeland, I'm in poverty now. I know it. I'm telling you how to get out. That's the gospel. I don't care if you ain't got but 2 nickels. Give him the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. What do you guys think of that? All right. Well, that's a blast, huh? Just totally fried you on that one. That guy, thank you, Brother Copeland, for helping us out over here. Wow. That was pretty crazy. I don't know what to tell you about that. So, yeah, some interesting stuff in that. That was pretty crazy. He is what he is. You tell me. I think Johnny just came out and just said it. He was like, holy crap. Demonic reptilian. I like that better. You guys are talking about a new Ninja product. It's called Thirsty. I'll have to check that out at some point. I have to see yours and we'll show you a video of it. Yeah, I might a little later on. Right? TJ's like, what the hell is going on? So, yeah, that one girl, she's like my dad, like back in the 90s. Yeah, not anymore. So things are definitely getting better with this new administration. We'll be right back to where we were. No, we won't. We probably will never be back to that point. And if I don't give my daughter this house and save this shop, I don't think she's even ever going to get one because of the way things are going. But that's another story. Interesting take on the pants, right? That makes a lot of sense because most people have absolutely no concern for the country. They just say that they want to vote and whatever, but they really don't care. Because if they can't, because we did it to ourselves. I've been screaming this from the lawn forever, right? It's just, when I was young, I'm like, we sold out the country, let them do it. Everything's manufactured somewhere else. All the jobs are gone. Where do you think you're going to be working? What do you think you're going to be able to afford? And with all the spending of the money, it's just going to destroy the financial system. It lowers the value of every dollar because it's a fiat currency. And when you spend and print like this, each time you do that, it's like a hidden tax. And it just shrinks the value that you have in your pocket every week. And after a while, this is what you get. So that was interesting. People don't think to buy American. They don't care if they can save a penny. If it costs them a penny more, they might consider buying something American, but yet they'll complain that this carburetor doesn't work or that thing doesn't work or whatever. So that's the irony we face. And I just think it's interesting commentary. So I just threw all that together real fast just to have some fun for the night. And I wanted to get to kind of like the 69 Les Paul, which is like how I started my YouTube channel. So I had this 1969 Les Paul I got from a buddy of mine, my buddy Arthur, shout out to him, my brother Arthur there. And we bought it in like the 80s. He got it at some local music store. And this is like at the beginning of like when Van Halen was getting really hot, right? So you remember Van Halen's guitar, it had, he wrapped electrical tape around it and sprayed it and took the tape off. And I think he left the tape on. Well, it had a Van Halen style flat neck for doing all of this and the whammy bar. It was a Les Paul, and somebody like glued paneling on the top of it. It was really bizarre. And he found this thing because he looked up the serial number and he said, I know you always wanted some good old, Gibson wood. And he's like, I found this, and he was becoming a luthier, and he's like, I want to put a fretboard on it and everything. And years went by, and I had a bunch of other guitars, and eventually I let him do the work, and then eventually he did it, and then eventually I paid him for it, and I got it back, and I had to repaint it. We had to take the top off, we had to put a new fretboard on, he put new fret wire, stripped the guitar. There was really nothing there worth anything. And I took some parts off my like 79 or 70, late 70 something Les Paul. I actually want that back. He still has it. He promised me he would give it back to me. Arthur, you promised me that if I stayed here, you would give it back to me. So let's work something out. We'll work out a deal. So that guitar was pretty cool. I had to walk a really, really long distance to get that one. It was a smoked tobacco sunburst finish. And it was lighter. So the 69 Naked was actually heavier than the 79 Les Paul loaded with all the metal parts on it. So it was a heavy piece of wood. And I took a while to paint it. It has all the binding on it. So I repainted it. It was like a dark green, black, metallic, weird. It mostly looked black most of the time. I think it had even a bit of a brown, metallic staining around the edges. And it came out pretty good. So I went through all of that, and it just like sat around, took a long time because you have to mask off the binding, and we found that sometimes you could scrape the binding lightly and pull off some of the paint because you got to get that paint line right up to the binding, and otherwise it won't look right, right? So because it's a white and black binding that goes around the whole guitar. I got it working. And like this is right around the time when all hell was breaking loose. I was a mess. My daughter was a mess. Got divorced. I had no money. They closed my accounts. I didn't even have a cell phone. I had nothing. So I put the thing back together and I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell this thing. I have no choice. I got to sell it. All right. There's no way I could go back to work. I could barely stand on my feet for 4 hours a day. So I was like, all right, I got to sell it. Sucks. So let me play it, put it up for sale. And I played the guitar for about a month. So that's what I'm going to show tonight, is I played it a couple of different songs that I didn't really know. I hadn't really been playing because I wasn't well and my daughter was very ill. So there was just really no time to play guitar for a lot of years. And I was starting to sell off my equipment. So I didn't really have much other than the one guitar, this guitar, my amplifier, which I'll show you in a little bit. And I don't even think I had like my stereo. I didn't have any mics or anything, I don't think, at that point. I was like getting rid of a lot of the stuff. And it was, I mean, I got a good price for it. It wasn't bad considering what it was. And the money I had invested in it and the time was over so many years that didn't matter. But it was such a cool guitar. And there's a thumbnail shot of it, which you'll see more of it in a minute. So I started playing it a little bit, and it was kind of sad to see it go, but well worth it because of the cause, right? Save the shop, save my daughter, save myself, get the hell out from under the divorce nonsense. And I'm thinking, well, I need to do something, right? I mean, I'm like, the camera that I had at the time was this little Canon point and shoot, and it took really good pictures. So I got a lot of pictures of the Nova. I was selling the Nova. But it didn't take good video. It was like 720p, and it was small. It did have like a manual mode, but I mostly just left it in automatic. The microphone on the camera was probably about the size of this pencil tip, right? That's how big it was. Shot 720p. Didn't care how long you ran it. It ran on 2 AA batteries, so I put some rechargeables in it. And eventually the battery door kind of broke, so I was like rubber banding it. And the cell phone, I didn't have a cell phone because they shut my cell phone off. So my friend Liz, who I hadn't seen in like 6 years, well, that's another story, but she basically saved my life. And she gave me this cell phone, which just like, it was enough to like call 911 or to call her or to call my daughter in case there was something wrong with me, right? Because I was really struggling. But it didn't take good video either. I tried it. And I'm like, it was worse. It had a lot of problems. It didn't work very well. It was getting beat. This is what she had. She got a new one, and she's like, I got to give you something. You have to have a phone. So she paid for all of that. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just use the camera. I mean, I got to take some shots of it, and I might as well record it a little bit because I'm never going to see this guitar again. It's going to, I mean, after 20, 30 years or whatever of having it and never really being able to play it, I'm like, I got to play it for however long I have. It's up for sale. When somebody comes to buy it, it's going to leave. So a little bit at a time, I would noodle around with it. Oh, there's Christina. Great Christopher. So I set the little camera. She probably remembers this camera. And I set the little camera up on a stool or on the table. And my amp gets loud. Okay, and I like to play loud. Like, I don't like to just play soft. I like to play loud. My attitude is if you're going to play a guitar, you want to play it loud enough, not so much that your ears can hear it or that you can feel it, but you need to feel it in your kidneys, okay? You need to, like, feel it in your bowels, right? So, like, you're really rocking, right? Because, it's got to make you want to go to the bathroom or something, Like, you got to have it loud. So this poor little camera is like sitting like, I'm going to say I had no stand or anything. So I'm like, I put it over by the amp and it's just destroying the sound on this poor little microphone on this crappy little used up, no good Canon point and shoot. So that's kind of what gave me the idea, because after that stuff started to disappear, I was like, well, I might as well start a YouTube channel and just start like filming what I was doing around the shop. I had some cars I was working on. I needed to get these car projects out. And so I started filming that. I needed to finish up the Nova. There was just a couple of things wrong with it. So I shot some of that, put that up on my YouTube channel. The clear coat was a little messed up. So I re-cleared the Nova, shot that. I might have done the rims. I don't remember. There was a bunch of little projects I worked on. An old F-150, which is on my channel. I shot a bunch of that. I did a Rochester carburetor on how to take it apart and adjust all the needles and everything with a vernier caliper, and that's up on my channel. It's like there's a whole bunch of really crappy videos. And it started with this guitar because I was sad because I'm like, oh my God, I've had it for like 30 years and I'm only going to play it until it's gone. So let me see where you guys are. Let's see. School of Hard Knocks. He goes, oh, the Ninja product. Okay, so the Ninja product. Johnny Bravo says, yeah, I got that one. He says, my new Ninja product is called Thirsty. Have Art see if he will show you video. Yeah, I'll probably do that later on. TJ was like, what the hell's going on? You guys are like, wow. Robert says, that tool is a removal / installation tool that Uncle Archie made. It's more like a manufacturing tool. Okay. Francis Lang says, good evening, Arch. Hi, Francis. Francis Lang. Hey, Brett. Edward says, I bought me a pair of my slippers from the My Pillow guy. Nice. Nice. They're awesome, he says. Nice. Very nice. Bravo says, I always try to buy American branded stuff unless the company has gone woke. Yeah, I know, right? I didn't do any good woke stuff tonight. I didn't need to. There was no need for that tonight, but I'll get back to that. There's some good stuff coming out. I actually have something. I was watching Redacted the other night, and she did a piece on a lot of the young males, young boys of this generation, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, etc. They're like rebelling against the woke. They're just totally hating on it because they're getting fed this in high school. And actually, a couple of articles came out on this, and people are like, what? Like, they're kind of shocked. Yeah, they're getting sick of it. I'll have to run that at some point in the future. But says, I need a pair of those. Yeah. Might do a video on them as well. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Because why not? Like, you don't have to absolutely stay within, like, a genre. I mean, people tell you to, but whatever. Let's see. It says, let's see it. Yeah. Christina says, howdy, all. Nice mic. What's the mic? No, it's not a mic. I see, because I meant y'all, huh? Oh, howdy, y'all. Howdy, hall. Oh, I gotcha. So I'm talking with Brett. Let's see. Brett says, there she is. And Tractor. Oh, there, Tractor Lady. Hi, guys. Hope you're all having a great weekend. She says, it was raining here yesterday. Today was cloudy here today. Christina, you should go back and just watch the piece I just ran right before this if you didn't see it with Brother Copeland. You should definitely watch that. That definitely blew us out a little bit. And of course, you got to watch the Chinese band that me and the boys are going to get together. And we're going to see if we can get these Chinese guys over here, bring them into the shop, see if we can get them signed, maybe get them out on the road. They definitely need a little bit more cowbell, but, you know, we'll go buy a cowbell for them. I mean, we can afford that. Let's see. This is, yeah, it's raining like crazy today. Brett says, sure, I'm Christina. Just finished watching Back to School starring Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, I know. He's just FBI. Edward says FBI. Yeah, she will die laughing. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, getting back to the guitar and the amp. So I'll show you guys my amp. So I was like poking around last week and I couldn't find anything. It got really bad. And I started to clean up my files. The only thing I didn't get to tonight was just like loading this up. So I've showed this once before. Let me put up some pics. by the way, I wanted to tell you guys. Yeah, here's some pics. Hold on. I want to tell you guys. So you can see here, right? So TJ saw this monitor, right? So this is the one I found across the street. I fixed it up. I told you guys the story, and it's in Spanish, but I can read techno Spanish. And I got it working good. I took it apart. I made a different mount for it. I set it all up. It's been working great. Like 2 weeks ago, an effing black fly, okay, somehow got in the vents in the back. He came down the front of the screen. He's actually right here. You could probably see it. It looks like a little... It's like right in the middle of the screen where everything is, right where your eyes go. He was like kind of like walking around between the glass, I guess, and the screen. And he was trying to get around. He was going around for like about a week. And then finally, at like the end of the week, he wound up right here. And he just stopped. I guess he died. And then like a day or so later, like I see him. And like he's like stayed there for like a day, and like I'm looking at him and I'm trying to do something. And I'm looking at him, and you see every now and then you go, one of his legs, and that's where he's been for like over a week, and it's just killing me because everything I do, I have to look at that fly, crushed dead fly in my monitor. So really busy this week. And even though I didn't get a lot done, the shop is a mess. I did a little bit of cleaning. But for this, I need the bench clean, spotless, put something down. You don't want to scratch the glass or anything like that. You don't want any... There's metal dirt everywhere. And you'll see why later on. I call it dirt because it's like such fine shavings and filings that it's like in the dirt. But I did get stuff done, okay? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, the Bud Light, the little piece of the Bud Light was a little bit of some woke stuff. But I kept it light. Here, let's take a look at the right monitor real quick. So just wanted to show you guys my amp. And you'll see the guitar in a minute. Oh, look, there's Mr. Doggy. I have to show Mr. Doggy. Let's see. Oh, he's sleepy. He's been here like almost all morning. Right, Boo? You know, feeling okay? He's getting old. Yeah. Yeah. I just had to show him. He's in the house. He was out in the rain. Gonna bring him in. So this is a Fender Deluxe. It's what they call a blue tube. It's sort of similar to the Hot Rod, but I kind of hot rodded it. I think it's got a, 112 inch. It's a little bit newer. I mean, I've had it for a while. I think I changed the handle on it or whatever, but put some wheels on the bottom. And what you're looking at is, so it's a tube amp. It's about 40 watts or so, 40 or 50 watts. It's about what it puts out. And it's got that Fender-y sound, which is okay some of the time. And what you see on top here, we'll see if I have another look at it. So this is what you're going to be hearing, kind of. So this is a Seymour Duncan. It's a twin tube, a blue preamp, sort of, kind of like a distortion. It's more of an overdrive pedal, this blue thing. It's got 2 channels on it. And you get an extra tone stack on here. So you got a bass and treble. You got your 2 volume controls. So if you want to just slightly overdrive the input on one of these things, you can do that, right? You could just overdrive it. And so you have the rhythm channel, and what you do is try to match the volume or bring it a little bit higher if you want it, because it's got a bypass on the left. This knob on the bottom, you step on it, and then there's a channel select. So if you don't want it at all, you can turn it off. So basically the way you would do it is you would just turn it off, set your amp kind of the way you would normally want it for rhythm or something, maybe a clean sound. And then when you step on this, you can get a little bit more hair or something from your rhythm sound. And then you can do the channel select, and if you want, you can add gain on top of it, so you can get more of like a real hot, gainy, type of sound on it. A little bit more overdriven, but it's not really a distortion pedal. So the clipping would have to come from either overdriving the preamp side or overdriving the tubes on the back end side. So this would be all tubes. And the only thing in the circuit on the input side is this box back here, which is an echo box. And I really like this box. I think you'll see it more in a bit. It does echo, chorus, a bunch of things. It can split the channels. And I've had it for a really long time, but it has a lot of control over the echo. So I can absolutely dial in the echo exactly the way I want it. I've never really found anything quite as nice as this. And then because it can split things into stereo, I used to use it to run another amplifier at the same time. And so I would have a separate control over that. So that's kind of why I kept it versus like a kick box, a little stomper box. That's the back side. So I made a little rack extension for the back of it. And then I was thinking, I'm like, look at all these wires, you know, because that's a big pain in the neck. And I'll tell you what this other box is in a minute. And then you have this, which is just a mess with this mess of wires. What a mess. It's a little bit neater with everything mounted in one, but... And I thought, well, this is a Hubble power filter. And let me put this over here. Let me put it over on this one. Will it work on this one? No. Can I move you? Let's see. Will that do it? Hold on. Let's try going this way. Since I'm not playing any... There we go. So this thing, it's got a nice on-off switch in it. It's got an additional fuse in it, which is nice. It does have a power conditioner inside of it to get rid of the hum and some of that AC mains and the noise, because tube amps are noisy by their nature. And then, of course, you have all these plugs, which is nice. So if I want to add more stuff, because, you know, people like to add stuff, you have all those plugs. So I thought, well, maybe I'll mount it right here and I'll just extend that bracket over. Let's put a different bracket on or something. And it'll all be plugged in nice. And you have one cord coming out for power and one cord coming over to the guitar. Done. Simple. So I haven't finished that yet. I thought that would be a good idea. It would be fun. I would enjoy that. Let me come back. So... this box here, yeah, cleaning up that mess. So that black box, that's a rheostat. And you can actually see, I just put the rheostat in a black box, and it goes between the output of the amplifier and the speaker. And one of the cool things you can do with it is when you turn that knob, it acts as a power soak load. So the power, the wattage that's coming out of the amplifier, it goes between the amplifier and the speaker. So it gets hot, gets a little hot, kills some of the volume, and it loads up the back end of the amp, and it lowers the volume of the amp. So it makes the amp think it's up almost all the way, like it's really loud. So you get that kind of sound out of the amp that you would get if it was really loud. And it can get really loud. So that enables me to turn it down to a bit more of a rational level. I get this sound out of it that sounds loud. I mean, it's loud. You know, it may not be as loud as it would be if you took that thing out or you just turned it all the way off. And you can kind of adjust it. It has a couple of sweet spots that the amp likes. It's not an exacting thing. Tom Scholes of Boston he made a series of those. And I remember when we were real young, we would go over to like Flipside rehearsal studios. I knew the guy there. He was a nice guy. And I used to throw him a few bucks and he would let me try out all this stuff, different gear. So like every time I went there, I would try out some different kind of gear. And occasionally I'd buy something from him. But I always tried to treat him right. And he was good to me. And I remember I put one of those load boxes, Tom Scholes load boxes, on the back end of a Marshall. And it was awesome. I loved it. I fell in love. It was a little hard to noodle with because it was hard to adjust the volume per se. Let's see. We'll die laughing. Freaking 75 or higher here, Johnny says. Tomorrow, sunburn weather. Oh, no. DJ says he's going to mail me the remote for the TV. I know. He has, DJ's got the couple of remotes for this TV thing because it's a smart TV. I had to make it stupid, But, you know, that would be cool. TJ's been fooling around with his TV. But my guess would be I saw that burn mark on there, TJ, and whatever's above it, because those are just jumper wires. But my guess is that board probably has something wrong with it. But you could have damaged LED segments. You're going to have to Google that and see what people say about stuff like that. I don't know. But there's two different like boards in there. There's like a mother-daughter board. The first board is where the power comes in. That's your power board. And that's what makes all the power for everything. And then you'll see jumpers go over, or connectors go over to that other board, I think the one that you were looking at. And that's your driver board. That's where the TV stuff happens and the picture and all of that. And there's some burn marks on there for sure. I think something else is damaged. But you got to look at pricing. Let's see. Yeah, the VI is for Bud Light. Oh, it's BL. Yeah, Bud Light. FBI. F-K Biden Incorporated. Okay. All right, says it. Well, at least your four-legged child is happy now because of his other human is back. Yeah, almost. She's almost back. She got the rug in today. What does overdriving it do? Like cause some distortion? Yes, a little bit. Yeah, it's different than distortion. I think I mentioned this last week. Tubes don't behave the way transistors do. They each one is good for something and has a side to it that allows you to do certain things. And so there's some cases when a transistor is really what you want, or a tube amp is what you want. And I'm mostly a noisy blues man, you know, blues rock guy. Like that song that I just played at the end of that short, that's more like Dream Theater. And you would use a transistor amp, like or a modeling amp or some kind of like an amp in a box and connect it to your computer and, you know, and the mixing board or something like that. And you could really narrow everything down and put a lot of compression on and get a very specific sound. But it doesn't react well to your guitar. Like it reacts to harmonics, but little volume changes and nuances when you turn the volume pots down, things of that nature. The way a tube amp would do it is it would sense that fact that you turned your pickup down a little bit or you played a little lighter and didn't play so hard. And it would react differently. It would sound a little different. It wouldn't just be lower. And if you played a particular note a little bit harder, you could cause it to do a kind of distortion. It's really not distortion. It's a distortion in the sense of like an overdrive. It's not a distortion like in a clipping box, like a fuzz pedal or clipping box. Like the fuzz boxes were real clipping. They would flatten out the waveform and do all this, break up the sound. The way a tube amp breaks up when it's overdriven, it feels like it's got hair on it, like it's growls. And you'll hear it. You'll kind of hear it in this short that I'm going to play with me playing this guitar. You'll kind of hear it. It's just that I'm like the sound pressure level is way too high for this poor little camera, and it's too close. But it was where I had to put it. I think at one point when I was doing that, there was actually a Volkswagen in here, so there was a car in the way, and I'm like up, kind of like now, but everything was over there, and I was like up against the back and. It might have even been sitting on the Volkswagen. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of room. So it will overdrive the amp a little bit. It's a kind of distortion. It's very hard to describe, but it's not a transistory distortion. So you could get a distortion box and put it on a tube amp and you'll get some great sounds out of it. But this is more like reactive to like a blues sound and a rock and roll sound. And it is a nice distortion. I mean, I like it a lot. I also like the sound of that other thing that I played, which, by the way, that last piece, and you might hear him again, but that last piece was by Ethan Meixell. That's Meixsell, Ethan. And a shout out to him. And I don't know if it's a band or it's a YouTube artist and whatever else. I don't know if that's a whole band playing that or if that's just something that he did. He does all the instruments. I don't know. I haven't really looked into him. Because I came across him about a month ago, and I was just listening to some of his stuff and trying to see if I could work it into some of my videos, because I kind of like it. They remind me of Dream Theater. And if you guys know who that is, that's bunch of years ago, I met some younger fellas when we all had a studio together, and they were about 10 years younger than me, and they were introducing me into, it's not jazz rock like back in the day with Al Di Meola and Larry Carlton doing jazz rock fusion. No, this is it's a kind of heavy metal. It's a progressive heavy metal. And they do a lot of stuff in odd times. And that song, I believe, is in 7/8 and 4/4. And I'll count it a little bit later, but I'm not particularly very good with timing, but it's pretty neat because it's just this weird timing counts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you hear it hit the cymbal. It's kind of neat. And then it breaks into a 4/4 thing. And a lot of the bands in that period were coming out doing stuff like that. Because I think a lot of these guys, their parents were sending them to like classic guitar lessons. And they were learning classic guitar. And a lot of them, what they did with it was they played like heavy metal, but different, you know. It says, coming up 1 year since I got Bell's palsy, pretty much recovered from it. Brought on from Lyme disease. You had Lyme disease? Wow. How'd you get that? You out in the woods or something? Wow. And she's, well, half the screen is fade or dark. I think some LED lights are bad. Yeah, or either some kind of power burned out. I don't know. I generally never fix TVs. So I went going around with this guitar for a little while, and I sold it. It was pretty sad. And that's why I was thinking maybe my friend Arthur will give me this other Les Paul back. Because he took it. I gave it to him. We traded a bunch of stuff. He's like, if you stay, I'll give it back to you. I never got it. You know. But it's a cool sunburst. Let me set this up. And I'll show you, bear with me. This is the kind of thing that like a guitarist would never want anybody to hear. But it's the only record of the guitar that I have. And the only record of its sound. And it is what it is. And that's, it is what it is, and I'll never see it again. And it's really kind of sad. And watching it was really hard for me to watch it. And it still is because it's kind of sad. But like I said, it is what it is. I'll never see it again. But who knows? Maybe I'll get a different guitar one day or something. Or maybe Arthur will give me that 79 Les Paul pancake style. See, this thing, like I said, it's heavier than the 79 because it's made from one big block of wood in the middle. And the neck gets glued to that. And that creates a tremendous amount of sustain, but it's very heavy. And then the bottom pieces are glued on to the bottom down here. And then the top little bit of piece that goes like this, right, is glued on. And that's how the guitar is structured. Whereas like later on, Gibson decided to do it like a pancake. They made a flat piece of wood about yo thick and they routed it out. And they glue the neck to, then they take another piece of wood that's got the concave, convex top, the round style top, and they route that out for the pickups or whatever. And I don't know how much they do of it, but they glue it together like a pancake. And I think then they route it out and they make the pocket for the neck and they glue the neck in. But it doesn't have, like the 69 has, it's like one piece. It's like you're laying, like this is the body of the guitar, right? So now you have a body with a cutout here, and then you lay the neck in, and that's how a pancake guitar would go. But the 69 is different, right? So they have the neck, and then they have this big piece of wood, and they cut out a route out for it, and it becomes one big piece, one long piece, and then they glue the bottom and the top on. Right, and that's just where you put the switch and the volume knobs. So that gets a lot more sustain. It was a lot heavier. But I liked the other guitar, though. It was a little bit lighter. It was a little easier to wear. It was fun to play. I liked the tobacco sunburst finish. It had a lot of wear on it. I bought it when I was very, very young. I had to walk all the way to like Sam Ash to get it, which was like many miles away. It came in a plastic case, which I sold, but it looked like somebody laid this thing up against a motorcycle exhaust pipe and it melted half the case. So, good memories. Let me cue this up. This is I made a reel. Wait, hold on. Coming up 1 year. Robert says, I made a reel on my Instagram account, the song from AC/DC Thunderstruck. Nice. Where it says probably from a tick on a piece of equipment. I didn't latch on, but apparently bit me. Gotcha. Oh, wow. Let's see. Let me set this up. Oh, bear with it. Yes, that's a cool, let me move this out of the way. We'll come back to that later. Here we go. Hang on. The last days of my custom Les Paul. Foxy lady. Yeah, Foxy. Well, you know you're a sweet little heartbreaker. Foxy.
It's got a bite.
Told you I was noisy. You can tell how loud it is. That was the first time. That was actually the first time I played it. What's this one? See if you can guess it. I'm losing you. I don't know the words though. I'm losing you. I can see it in your face. I don't remember the words though. No. I never played it before. I was just fooling around. Yeah, your love is fading. I can feel it fading. Yep, that's it. Yep, that's it. Oh, that's loud.
That needs to be a little louder.
Yeah, it always needs to be louder. That's a good-looking guitar. I'm just fooling around with it. That's loud. Oh yeah, that's loud. Let's see if you can guess this song. That's Journey. When the lights go down in the city and the sun shines on the bay. I can't tell if I'm in time. I want to be there. Yeah, no, I'm out of time. I can't hear it. Black Betty, yeah. Yeah, Journey, Lights in the City. What about this one? This one's hard. This is like a soul tune. Baby hair, yeah, with a woman's eyes. I can see you watching in the night. Walk along with me, yeah. Waiting for the sunrise. When I feel cold, you warm me. And when I feel I can't go on, you come and hold me. It's you and me forever. Sarah, smile. Won't you smile away from me, Sarah? You feel like leaving, you know you can go. Why don't you stay until tomorrow? If you want to be free, you know, all you got to do is say so. That's a cool tune. I can't hear myself though. I can't hear this. It's not in the right time.
Ooh, major chord there.
Yep, whoops, screw it up. Now this one, see if you know this song. It's a different tuning. Yeah, Brett's nailing it. Yup, Zeppelin. Nope, not Hey Joe. Yeah, right? That's the last one. That's the last song. That's it. Never got played after that. And that's sad. Let me catch up with you guys. Let's see. Yeah, so you guys hit most of them, yeah. The Lights by Journey, yeah. Foreigner Feels Like the First Time, yeah. Brett's like, I know my music. Your love is fading. I can feel it fading. Oh, I'm losing. And the rest of the words, like I looked at them, I'm like, wow. That's a lot of words to that song. Like, forget that. I don't sing, so. Lights by Journey. You had Black Betty. Whoa, Black Betty. Wham, yeah, that was a fun one. I just did whatever I felt like doing. Most of those songs, I really didn't know any of them. I was just like, well, I hadn't played in a long time, and I'm like, I might as well play something and hook this camera up and just stick it there and see what it does, and that's the end of it. I never gave it another thought. And I really haven't played even all that much. That was like 5 years ago. So like 5 years ago, I started that stuff. Let's see, Robert retracted his messages. Brett's nailing all of them. Winter 1976. Edward says, yup, Led Zeppelin. All right. Brett, Joe Brett says, there's a copy of the album, Joe says. He goes, hey, Brett says, hey, Joe. No, that is Led Zeppelin, Rain Song, the Rain Song. Well, my version of it. Johnny says, that kind of music, you can put a move on a lady. Working tonight, Joe? He says. Joe says, no, just enjoying the stream. I'm off Sunday and Monday. Nice. He says, you guys watch, you may break into some Steely Dan. Yeah, I like Steely Dan, definitely. Bravo says, I want to hear him do some Hank Marvin and Mark. I can't do Mark Knopfler. What about Winger? Daylight Startup. Yeah, Tuesday. Yep. Yeah, definitely coming real soon. So, yeah, that's the end of that. No more of that stuff. So I don't really play this guitar as much, although I bought this one new as well. And I broke the neck on it and fixed it. And it does actually play well. And I think I mentioned I put some different pickups in it. And it sounds okay. I got them from my buddy Arthur. It sounds like okay. But I'm going to start playing a little bit more. Talking Heads was awesome. We had a lot of really good music come out, like just constantly. From the time I was like very young, not to mention all the music from before, I started playing guitar to through so much of my life, Stranglehold. I know that. I could even play like some Cat Scratch Fever, a little bit of it, but Stranglehold was fun. We tried that. It's just too monotonous, though. I can't lay on that for too long. We used to call him Ted Nuisance. I saw him once. He came flying out of the rafters in a loincloth, right? Hanging on to a rope, and he was bouncing off the PA speakers. And what he did was, like, he came out. I don't remember exactly how he did. He came out. I think he said hi to everybody, and then he laid his guitar up against his amplifier, and it was like feeding back for what seemed like forever, and all the lights went out. And then when the lights opened up, it was him. He jumped off the rafters, swung down in the loincloth, bounced off the PA bins, dropped onto the stage, picked up his guitar, and went into Cat Scratch Fever. And I was like 10th row. It was blowing me away. It was almost too much. Yeah, David Byrne was good. It was just so much music. It was just crazy. It got horrible. It's like, it seemed like every month there was another hit from some band. And then the British reinvasion came, which is all those other bands that came in the late 90s and 90s and whenever. It just kept going until, I don't know, maybe like 2000, a little bit after, and that was the end of it, I think, Yeah, he's a legend. Those guys were great. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I was thinking about that when I was putting that short together, and that young lady was talking about how her father made all this money in the 90s, and it's not like that today. And I was thinking of when the days go by, water roll. Where is my beautiful house? Where is my beautiful car? Where is my beautiful wife? Well, you sold out, right? You let your country get sold out, and now you don't have any of that shit anymore. Yeah, Oh Well by Fleetwood Mac. That was the early Fleetwood Mac. Oh Well. Yeah, I think that was the early stuff before, like, the more current Fleetwood Mac, right? Wasn't that early? Ton of UK bands, even Oasis was great. There was so much good music. It went to Satan is what it did. I was talking about that last week. It's true. They just ruined it. Well, it was always like that. Like, it was always something. A friend of mine was telling me that there's a guy that was super huge from, I guess in the 90s or whatever, and early 2000s. He was super huge. He was out of Scotland or something like that. And they were interviewing, he was talking about the music industry. He's like, I got out of it because everything was Satanism. He's like, they would, when you released an album, they would make the master and they would pray over it. All the witches would come around and that's not the only time I've heard that. I've heard that from the 60s people too say that. They would pray over certain albums. No, thank you. I don't want any of those albums. Thank you very much. I don't need any of those in my house. I don't want to take any chances. But that's what they started doing, and they were doing that for a while. Isn't it crazy? Later covered by the Rockettes in summer of 79. 79 was great. It was a good year, too. And I remember it was like 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. It was like Boston came out. Modern and Feel and all this good stuff. Then it was like Foreigner came out, right? All those great Hot-Blooded. Like I kind of could play that song. And like Kansas, Carry On Your Wayward Son. I was like, oh my God, what is that? Right? It was just like one after the other. And that like woke me up. It shook me out of that because I was more into like 6th grade or something like Steve Miller Band, you know, Come On, Take the Money and Run, something like that. It was Neil Young and it was like rock and roll and stuff. But when some of these other guys started coming out, I was like, what is this? Because there was like your standard rock and roll, and then there was this stuff that was coming out. And like even in particular, like Boston, you know, like Carry On Long Time or whatever that was, you know, with the keyboard. It was just like, what the hell is this? And there's, I think Tramontane or something like that was on the backside of the album for Foreigner's first album. And I thought that was a really good tune on the B-side. It was just an instrumental. That was a pretty cool song. There's so much stuff. And then like AC/DC, which is kind of like cheesy rock and roll. And then a lot of the other bands started coming back again, and they would do, and even Clapton was coming out with stuff. Well, he started coming back out with stuff for a long time because he started, like, he quit the dope and everything. So, like, what launches into space? What about Clapton? Yeah, we used to do that. Jet Atlanta. Yeah, no, I can't play Jet Atlanta. We used to do Cocaine, and my friend Bill, the drummer, he says, I'm sick of doing drug songs. I'm not doing them anymore. F yourself. Because it was easy to do, right? Especially when you're trying to form a band and you're like, well, we'll do that song. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That was The Prelude, Such a Long Time by Boston. Yeah. Yep. That was just some great stuff. There was just so many bands. Do not under any circumstance listen to Bob Dylan's Christmas album. Why? Is that full of like references to stuff? You know, because he's another one. He admitted it in like 60 minutes. He admitted what he did. He's like, and the guy was like, that black dude, that interview, that really good interview, I forget his name. He's like, so he was interviewing, he's like, well, I got to hold up my end of the bargain. And the interviewer was like, what bargain is that? He's like, I made the bargain with the man downstairs. Okay. That's why he was still out there. He's still out there doing it, you know? Wow. Huge Joe. Oh, Joe Jackson was good. Yeah. Yeah, and the Joe Jackson and Jackson Brown also with Running on Empty, and like they were coming out with like, it's like, stop, you're killing me too. I can't afford all these albums and everything, you know. The bass guitar that was used by the bass player in the group GTR played a bass guitar that was tuned by using an Allen set screw. Yes, that was, they came out with the locking bridge. And that was for the whammy bar. Okay, so like Halen started using those and everything. Well, of course, Halen came out, right, big time, but that, you know, that's a whole nother thing. And when you use the whammy bar a lot, the guitar will go out of tune, especially if the machine head's up top, the machine head's up there. If they're not really tightened right and not in good shape, the string will pull off the post a little bit. And then when you go to play your guitar after doing a lot of whammy shit, it's out of tune. So they first started putting a set screws up at the top of the nut. And once you tune your guitar, you'd lock those set screws down and clamp those strings down up top. And then they had another thing that they started playing around with the back. And I really didn't go in for a lot of that stuff because I didn't really play with a whammy bar. Evan says the guy couldn't carry a tune on that album. It was light as a feather. Yeah, right. Yeah, it got weird. Things started getting weird, you know. Jackson Brown, as that girl could sing. Yeah, it's another good one. So many good bands. And then, of course, all the hair bands, right? Motley Crue and all. They were good in their own way. Joe, mother doesn't go out anymore, just sits at home and rolls her spastic eyes. But every weekend through the door come words of wisdom from the world outside. Know the song? No, I don't know. I don't know that. I'm not good with lyrics. You know, I'm too busy trying to hear the song through, like, the point of view of a guitarist. So, you know, we get lazy. You know, what my friend Arthur always used to tell me, he's like, just know, like, the first verse and the break and whatever, and just repeat that. So, at least get that. Because you kind of get lost into what you're doing. You know, you just kind of get lost into it because you're trying to keep your head in the tune. Like, I never really listened to the words because I'm, like, looking for guitar parts. It's bad. And of course, all the Allman Brothers stuff came back. They started working again, and a lot of good Allman Brothers stuff came out. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on. You know, so much good stuff. Oh, yeah, Mountain. Oh. See, that's like quintessential sort of, Marshall, Les Paul kind of overdrive. Speaking of overdrive, Bachman Turner overdrive. But that's the kind of sound that, you can get out of like Marshalls and things of that nature when you're just dealing with tube amps and you don't need a fuzz pedal or an overdrive pedal or whatever. You just crank it as loud as you can go. And if you want, put a load soak on the back end of it, and that'll tone it down a little bit so you can turn the master volume. A lot of amps didn't have master volumes back in the day. They just had a volume control. So if you wanted to get a hairy sound out of it, you had to be loud. Or you had something in front of it. And what a lot of guys would do is they would use the Roland tape echo. And that's how you got your echo and a touch of reverb. But you could also take the input and the output on it and turn that up a little bit. And it would overdrive the input signal and push the tubes a little harder. And that was another way to get an interesting sound that was overdriven, really rocky. And it would distort a little bit. See, Bravo says, I got to see Great White open for Whitesnake here. Awesome concert. Yeah, Great White was great. And Whitesnake was pretty good. Well, the Whitesnake people were all sort of polished musicians that had played out and been in the studios. And they had a good sound and they wrote well. They wrote for the girls, And of course, some Journey came out and when I was young and they were doing some really cool stuff. And Santana came back and it was like everybody was home, Paul McCartney did a lot of really great shit. Yeah. I actually liked Wings. I actually liked what he did with Wings, and I liked the guitarist in Wings. The Push-Up by Steppenwolf, that was a good one. Steppen was good. Yeah, Inagata DeVito, Iron Butterfly. That was the old school stuff. Yup. That I got turned into as I got, the people turned me on to that. I think my friend Rob's father turned me and Rob himself turned me on to that because that was like his father's generation. And when I got turned on to that, I was blown away. Yeah, Great White and Warrant open for Rat. Yeah, summer '89. Yup. Yeah. This is Brett says, Joe says, Brett, look up the Sharp album. You can listen to it on YouTube. I believe it's from '79. Yeah. Yeah, 79 was a hot year. 79, 80, early 80s. Everybody was trying to get back into it. And of course, Queen. When I heard Queen, I was like, what? I'm like, opera and rock? Because there's like one thing after the other. And I'm like, what is this now? The first time I really heard that, I put the record on the turntable. And that was the first time I really could hear it. And I was just blown away. It was just the best. So, what can you say, right? What a time. What a time to be coming up. And I liked Rat. I like some of Rat. The guitarist, the original guitarist, I think he died or killed himself or something. I forget what happened. But he came out. This is a Rat tune that I did on that guitar, too. I didn't put it on there, but I tried playing it. It was very hard to do. It's just a repetitive riff. But, yeah, it was interesting stuff. That guy was pretty good. Yeah, since I saw a guitar that made for left-handed players. Yup. Yeah, generally you could just turn them around the other way. Let's see. Joe says, last year I went to a Festa Pussycat and Winger concert. It was really good. Nice. Edward says, DOA Blood Rock. Very creepy song. Yeah. Bro, it's a shit arch. Go listen to Nightwish, Ghost Love Score, live it. I'll definitely check that out. 2013. And then it was what? Like the 2000s, late 90s, whatever. I started to hear all that, like Kill Your Mother, Kill Your Father, death metal. And I remember being in the studios and people be playing that. I was like, what the heck is this now? What is this? I don't like that. I didn't like it. I mean, God bless them, but, a mixture of opera and metal. Yeah. This is, how about the live version of Do You Feel Like I Do? Oh, man. I learned that song. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Yup. I learned that when I was very young. I remember my aunt, she was listening to me play it one day, and she yelled down the stairs, and she's like, who is that? And I told her, it's like, Peter Frampton, Do You Feel Like I Do? Yeah, she was my dad's age. She was my dad's sister. That was going way back. Oh my God, I was definitely in like junior high. Probably like ninth grade or something. 8th to ninth grade. Yeah, that was cool. How about the live version? Yeah, I'm gonna check. One of the best albums of all time, Dark Side of the Moon, of course. Yeah, Pink Floyd. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to hang around my friend's band, and I was very young. He started teaching me guitar and stuff, so I just would help him out with the sound and all of that, and I learned how to do all of that. And then he started to show me a little bit more about guitar, and then my friend Arthur started showing me about guitar, and then hanging out with all those guys. They were a little older than me, so I was learning a lot from them when they were playing. And, you know, like one of the things that I learned from my friend John is he had a really cool black Les Paul, similar to mine, but it was the deluxe, it was all original. And he had a nice Fender amp, and I remember he was showing me the heart tune, like Barracuda, because I'm like, I want to learn Barracuda, you know, you know, that kind of shit. Don't fear the Reaper. Yep. Yeah, I would just sit and listen to these guys play right in front of me and just steal with my eyes. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, they wouldn't like. Robert says some of the music stores don't like it when you played Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Yeah, they wouldn't like that. Well, they didn't like it if you practiced and played inside the store. Unless you were really good. Because people make noise. They go into the stores and they start playing. And one of the, I think it was, I can't remember the name of the store. There was a store in town that opened up, and they eventually made like a little room for stuff like that. And you could close the door and you can go in there. But only if you were buying stuff, because they wouldn't let you in there otherwise. They give you a hard time. Young fellows that they put together a store, and it was nice. They catered to a lot of people for a long time. Yeah, they were a pretty decent store. A little pricey, but, you know, equipment is expensive. I've been checking out some of it too online and watching some videos on it, and a lot has definitely changed, you know, since I've been into it. But equipment has gotten expensive, but at the same time a little bit more affordable. For big name stuff, it's expensive. You can buy decent, good equipment, some of it used, but you can buy some decent equipment these days and put together like a little home studio or something for not a ton of money. You know, I used to record and do stuff, and like I said, I got rid of a lot of that shit. Oh, let's see. Don't run the sweeper. That's funny. Don't run the sweeper. My friend's uncle played at Trace Adkins country band when he would jam out Nirvana, Teen Spirit, and said, yeah. And then we had up here we had like another wave of country rock come to the island, and that got real popular for a long time. And of course, all of the country rockers of that time, right, came up here to play. So that was a lot of fun because we had that as well. I mean, Skinner was gone by then, and they weren't doing anything in those days, but all the other guys that were up here doing their thing. So much good music. I think it was just the last of it. There's a fellow that I watch, I can't think of his name, but he's on YouTube. He's a little older than me, and he's been in the music business for a long time. Now he does a YouTube channel, a producer and player and studio musician and everything else, and he's had some good interviews with other people that are producers around our age, and they talk about what happened and how it got all messed up. Yep, a lot of it is greed, and they burned out the musicians, and they were just looking for money and product, and they were taking it and stealing it mostly from the musicians, putting too much stress on them, and they had all these people involved in it, which it never used to be like that, and everybody got cuts. Let's see. Probably says 72 Sunday night, blew a joint, went to my room, put on a brand new Sennheiser headphones, plugged into my brand new JVC amp, King Biscuit Flower, played Dark Side, both sides, straight through. Nice. Yep. Haven't been the same since. Yeah. Let's see. Edward says, I heard that Toby Keith in later years always finished the show with a version of Stranglehold. That's a good song. Yeah, that's a tough one to keep going. Those are all very high energy. You know, we used to say that, like with Pink Floyd, the drummer, it must have sucked being him sometimes because some of that music is so laid back that there's not much for him to do. You know, it's just you needed somebody to keep the beat and be solid, really solid, of course, but it wasn't a lot for the drums in there. You know, in a lot of those tunes. We used to do in the Rogla band. In fact, my friend Scotty had reminded me. We used to do Time, Little Wing, Breathe, or Breathe, Time, Little Wing, or Little Wing, Breathe, Time, right? Because they're all in E, and so we would start off with whatever the song we started off with. Somehow or other, we would figure out towards the end of the song what the next song would be, and then it would leave the last one. So it was a trilogy. And I think most of the time, I think we used to just leave that to the end of the night. And that would be the last 3 songs we did. And no stop, just go right from one to the other because they're in E. And just go run right through them. I don't think I could play any of that anymore. You know, but we got real good at doing that. Yeah, Midnight Oil was cool. Yeah. Down, down, down. Tuk, 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 tuk. Yep. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, awesome. 2 Beds Are Burning. Yep. That was awesome. David Gilmour has it going on to the Seagull sound on his version of Echoes from the video of Royal Albert Hall. And says that super long interlude, Light My Fire by the Doors. I remember hearing that when I was a kid. I don't know if I was out somewhere with my mom at a concert. And I don't know if it was the Doors because I would have been just about old enough for her to take me. My parents were into music. Everybody played. I didn't play. I got thrown out of the music teacher that we all had. I went there and he told my parents to find something else for me to do because I had no rhythm and I couldn't play and I would never be able to play anything. And next thing I knew, I wasn't going there anymore. So they used to go see concerts. It really didn't matter. Liberace, they didn't care. They played piano and sang, and my brother played guitar. My sister played a little bit of it. Everybody played piano. And I remember being at a concert. It was towards the end of the night, you know, like the sun was going down because we had these outdoor concerts. You know, out here back in the day, people did stuff. Like there was like 4 racetracks on Long Island. Cars were huge. And there were all these concerts. And then eventually they opened up down by the beach. They used to just put like plays there and like concerts for like regular bands, like orchestra and stuff. And then they decided to start booking all rock bands and everything as well. So I just remember hearing Light My Fire and thinking, what is that? You know, because you would hear stuff on the radio, whatever, but a lot of things I didn't hear on the radio for the first time. A lot of the places that like my mother would wind up dragging me to when I was very young had Muzak. You know, it had the Muzak, like in the food store or whatever. It was all the Muzak of the day. But the Doors were awesome. Yeah, yeah, when did they stop playing? 67? It was like 69, 70? I don't remember when Jim Morrison died. But yeah, I had those albums too. There's so many good bands. Totally. All right, I got to take a piss. Should we take a break? Let's see, Robin. Did someone say Pink Floyd? Yeah, that super long interlude, Light My Fire. Yeah, that was just awesome. They had a lot of really good songs, but they were an odd band. And of course the Beatles and everything else, right? You know, but how about Hocus Pocus by the group Focus? I don't know what song. Hit me with a song that I would remember. Because I don't remember them. But they were just, oh my God. As he just says, the time has come to say fair, spare, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact. Belongs to them, let's give it back. Yeah. How can we dance while the earth is turning? Yeah. I don't remember Hocus Pocus. Any more words? Yeah, that was a great song. What happened to some of those people? You know, it's like every now and then, like I watch. They remember VH1 had the thing like "Where Are They Now?" whatever, and sometimes I would catch some stuff on YouTube, and there really doesn't seem to be a good ending to a lot of these people. Like I wouldn't mind the ending where the person said, "To heck with it, I'm just retired and I'm going to go live a regular life now." I don't like hearing the terrible endings of somebody that got into a car accident and got on pain meds and then it led to heroin and then they ruined their life. And some of this stuff is just horrible. Talk about bad wind, right? I didn't like a lot of the music scene, honestly. I thought it was filled with drug addicts and sometimes a lot of losers. And there was a lot of very nice, creative people there. But I mean, like my friend in the last band, the band itself that I was in, the fellow that was the keyboardist, they were a little younger than me, and I liked him. I liked him a lot. He was a gay fellow, and he was like really nervous about me finding out, but I could tell right away. I became friends with him. I really enjoyed the way he played. Sometimes he would get a guitar sound out of his keyboards, and he would go back and forth with me, and he was just really, really good. And eventually he met somebody and we were like, bring him down or whatever. He can hang out. He was like nervous about it. He's like, who told Zablik that I was gay? I'm like, nobody told me. I could tell. Well, he wound up, I guess, maybe heroin or something. He drank a lot. And I would say to Matt, what are you drinking so much for? That's a lot. And he just kept going down the wrong road. And eventually he died. Wasn't all that long ago either. But, there were a lot of people that were like that. Like it seemed like everybody wanted to go down this road, and it doesn't really lead to anything good. So some of us just moved on and bought houses and had children, and that was the end of it. What's your top 3 favorite songs? No order. Don't think about it. Just name them. Oh, I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have a top 3 of anything. I don't think of things that way. I like them all. And I'll go through phases. Besides, I could never have a top 3 songs anyway, because to play in bands and to have enough material to be able to spit out some tunes, you just have to play these damn things. Especially if you're not like particularly good like me. I'm not like really, I'm only gifted in certain ways. But to force yourself to have to play a tune, 20, 30 tunes. I mean, you're really supposed to have 100 songs. And at bare minimum, you would have to have 10 songs that you played really good, which means you'd probably have to have 20 songs just to filter out the songs that you could never really manage to get with the band. And if the band was to play all night, you'd have to have 3 sets of 10. So you needed really 30 songs, which meant you probably needed 40 or 50 songs because most of these songs were never going to work. Let's see, Brett sent me something. I mean, it was weird. Like you could throw songs out. Let's see. Oh, Mike, I gotta get back to Mike. Let's see. I wonder if I could just go here. Hold on, let's see what he put up. I won't do it on my phone because it'll take forever. Yeah, you had to go through a lot of tunes. Yeah, and not all the songs would work. Oh, there's my friend DJ. Let's see. What is that? Oh, Hocus Pocus. Yeah. I don't want to play it because I might just get a strike anyway from everything that I did tonight. I might get a strike from it just because. Because if you play anything, even if it sounds like they'll cap you. Let's see, Joe says, what is your top 3? Joe says, makes sense. I can't play any music. That is why I can name my top favorite songs. Yeah. Money by Floyd. That was a good one. Yeah, that's an interesting time. All those songs were in some of those songs were in weird times. I always struggled with that. A lot of the timing stuff. My friend Arthur would say to me, he goes, just to do 4/4 time, he's like, you need to walk around and, get a click box or whatever, a metronome, get that time down, and then walk around wherever you are and periodically throughout the day just do a 4/4 beat. And just do that. And tap it, pound on it, nobody's looking, get it in your head. I started to do that and it helped a lot. Absolutely. I mean, I can be flexible with time. Like I understand the concepts of being a little bit ahead of the beat or a little bit behind the beat. And I would work with the drummers. My friend Steve would try to bang, literally, he was a drummer and he would try to bang it into my head, but it just didn't always work. The 3/4 time stuff like, well, we would do Allman Brothers and we would do some Allman Brothers tunes. And there's a couple of things that are in like 3/4 time. Was it Jessica? Was that the one? One of them is in 3/4. And when I met the younger fellas, they were getting into like the Dream Theater stuff, which is the new progressive heavy metal. And that was sort of like what I played at the end of those shorts. That's, they used a lot of 7/8. You know, it's weird. Yeah, Money is like 7/8. This thing isn't set. This is the Ethan Mexel. Hold on. I can't say his last name, but I'll count it. Hold on. Let me just cue it up. Hold on. I have to find it. Hold on. Where is it now? You can kind of hear it. Oh, I'll cue it up. It's actually playing, but I have to find it. Here it is, here. All right, here. Let me bring it up. So this is 7/8. And now this is what, if you were doing a tube amp, you wouldn't really want to do a tube amp on this song, right? It would probably be better to have, yeah, Jessica was an instrumental, I think. And I think that's the one. That was 3/4. I'd have to play it on my guitar. It's been a really long time since I've done anything like that. So, you know, and I suffered some brain damage when I went DKA in the hospital twice. It wiped my brain out. And there were a lot of things that I wanted to do. Hold on. Let me kill this. There were a lot of things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't do them. There were a lot of things I used to do, and I didn't do them anymore. Like I would walk around with clipboards and test computers. I used to do a lot of computer repair. And there was, I had, when I ran my business for like 7-10 years, I don't know, I would save every receipt. I would document everything. I had Excel spreadsheets with everything on it. Like I can't do any of that anymore. It freaks me out. I have piles of papers and stuff. I don't know what's in them. I'm afraid to look at them. I was never that way. I was never that kind of a person. And it just blew my brain out. And I don't know, maybe it helped. I don't know, maybe it did something good. I don't know. Yeah, it's almost P-Lady break time, yeah. Let's do P-Lady. Let's do P-Lady. We'll come back and I want to show you something that's in 7/8. Let's see, yeah, Edward says, my wife is yelling at Alexa because I went to my phone and turned really loud. Some classic rock, sweet. All right, let's do P-Lady. We'll be right back and we're going to do a couple other things with music and then I want to see what you guys are up to and see what Brett's doing, and I want to show you the tool. So let's do P-Break. It's a good point in time. It's 2 hours. We got about an hour left. All right. That's cool. P-Break coming up. Oh, Is she picking her butt? Is that what she's doing? Is she picking her butt? Oh, she's going to lift up her skirt. Ooh, nice, fellas. Show a little skin. That's nice. All right, P-Lady. You got to go now. Yeah. This is our normal intermission, Joe. Joe says it's the first time for him. Oh my God, I know it's crazy. I don't. This is like a weird variety show. We do talk about small engines and stuff a lot, yeah. But you got to remember, fellas, right? I think this is like my last job, right? At my age, with all my issues, you know, in my world. Pretty much every day I'm working on small engines and I'm recording for YouTube. I mean, it may not go out on YouTube, but I'm working with the cameras and I'm recording it and small engines and bigger stuff. And like I get burned out, right? So you can imagine if you're doing this every day. So the live shows are like crazy talk time. You know, because Arch is crazy, and I have to be a bit more sedate during the day because, well, I'm working, dealing with customers and fixing stuff and making YouTube videos, which is awesome. I mean, it's just totally awesome. For all the things that I've done, this is a real blessing. For all the crap I've been through this past God knows how many years, this you guys and everything that I'm doing, it's a real blessing. And, you know, my health isn't as good for sure like it used to be. It's just I'm all broken and blown out and teeth are going, my hair is going, and my back is shot, and my diabetes is literally trying to kill me. But my doctor says, he goes, you're like really healthy for somebody who's got diabetes and is killing him, you know. But it definitely changed my outlook on things. And maybe this is my last job. It's like I had planned to retire at like 50. And the divorce and everything and my daughter getting sick, there was just no way I could do it. And then my idiot wife at the time, she literally just went off the deep end. I think some of that too was when my daughter got sick, it was freaking her out. Of course, that's her child. But we've made friends again, and certainly for the sake of my wonderful daughter, who we both love very much. Hi, T. And she's just the best kid you could never hope for. So why would you not be happy? Like people say, how do you still get along with your ex-wife? I'm like, because she gave me my daughter. Like nobody else did that. She did that. It's the best kid I'll ever gonna have, and I think in the world. And I can't be too mad at her because, well, look, you know. So yeah, you got to let things go, right? It's spiritually speaking and everything. Don't drag baggage too far around. Maybe a couple of carry-ons on the airplane, but don't you be dragging baggage around. It's not going to help you in your life. So that's my that's my kind thoughts for the day. She says, by the way, this is our normal. She's going to take up finger painting. Oh, no, I haven't caught a live in months. Glad I made this one. Oh, we're glad to have you, bro. Brett says, this is Arch's time to cut loose and hang out. Yeah. Yeah. And Brett says, Christina is awesome, just like her dad. Thanks, bro. Yeah. And like I said, you guys, meeting all you felt. I met so many cool people from the YouTube and the lawnmower stuff and the small engines, and not just on YouTube, but a lot of my customers have become friends. Some of them have, and all the mics, right? There's a lot of them, actually. Big Mike hits me up today. He goes, because I'm always complaining about, like, Mike, I'm jealous, right? Because he's got the Sun Stars and everything. He texted me early. He's like, I'm jealous of little Mike, young Mike. Yeah. Young Mike hit me up and he goes, do you want to buy the motorcycle? It's a Kawasaki. You're going to see that soon. I didn't answer him back yet. I don't think I can have a motorcycle. I can't lift it. I can't move it. I'm not strong enough. Just to get it over the little apron bump to the garage from the little apron in front, he and I had a hard time. Now, it could be because the brakes are a little locked up, but I've been going for some therapy and trying to deal with some stuff, and we noticed that the left side of my body, from the damage to my spine, it is weaker, definitely, the whole left side, because I've been riding on the right. And we're going to see if we can fix that, and I'm going to spend some of the summer trying to work on that, get my head straight for that. So if the bike were to lean, which it does when you go to put it on the kickstand or whatever, but if it starts to go to lean, I don't think I can carry it, the weight of it. I actually like these kind of Cowies, the twin cylinders and stuff. I remember the KZ like 1000s and everything back in the day. One guy used to do wheelies for me. I'd be a little kid hanging out in my garage working on mini bikes and stuff. and he would come by and pull wheelies. I don't think I can control a bike anymore. I don't think I can move it around. I don't think I could support it. I can't move the damn thing. So, yeah, we did a 7-hour live. Yeah. It's Bravo says, wait, Christine is awesome. Cinderella, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah. Till it's gone. Yep, that's a great song. Bravo says, awesome, Mark. I caught hell from my friends after divorce for remaining friends with my ex. She comes over at least once a week just to hang out. Best friend still. Yep. I have known my ex-wife forever. Well, she doesn't know anyone else, really. She was never really with anybody else, and I think at some point things go bad or whatever, and, people go astray. People make mistakes. Like, we screw up. That's our hallmark. That's the trademark of being a human being. So you can't, I always say that, how do I like to put this? It's not, I measure people by not the mistakes, it's what they do after them. And my friend Bill told me that, like back in the day when I used to rent out these big halls in this one studio and I invite all these musicians, and he would play all of these songs that none of us really knew because we were like, well, what, call a tune, and we'd try to play it. And he'd bang through it, and I would watch him make these mistakes. And then it didn't matter. Like, it just didn't seem to matter. I remember one day, we're closing up, I'm putting my cords away, packing up my case. He gets up, he's been sitting for 4 hours, he's pulling the crap out of his ass, right, his underwear and everything, because you're sitting there sweating and banging. And I asked him that question. He goes, it's not the mistakes you make. It's what you do next that counts. And I went, uh-oh, life lesson. Hold on. That's a life lesson. So I measure people by their redeeming qualities. If you have redeeming qualities, you've got a lot because you're going to screw up. That's your stock and trade. You're a human being, You're just not perfect. Yeah, that was like 7 hours, Brett. We were just hanging out. Brett and I hung out. We tried the other program, StreamYard. And he came up and Robert came up. Robert fell asleep with the camera staring at the ceiling. 7 hours. It's insane, right? She probably says, my ex hit that mid-30s. Yeah, batshit crazy. Yup, they go through that. Yeah. Yup. It's very hard to have a friendship with a woman. I used to say that I've had friendships with some women for a period of time, but I often used to say that it doesn't work because if you're friends with a woman, that means there's something else is going on, right? Maybe not both parties like each other that way, right? That way. But one of you does, and it's going to cause a problem. And as soon as you sleep with each other or you get to feeling something, right, a little tickly and everything, then you start to run into problems. And, I'm a straight guy, so I like ladies, and they make me laugh, and they're fun to be around and all, and you can be kind of friends with them. But it's really hard because then if you actually do like fall in love, whatever, and you start dating them and you get married and all that, it's easy to screw up at that point. You can screw all of that up real fast. And that's what we both, men and women tend to do that. Let's see. He says, and I was still up in time for church. How did you even, you were like already up for church. It's crazy. It's awesome now. We'll do another one. Definitely do another one. Like I was telling you guys, I'll try to integrate it into this, but I need a mixing board really to do it. And maybe not that program, but something else, but just kind of surfing around and checking stuff out. Maybe this year or next year, some little upgrades, and I can start playing guitar, and I can even record some of it, and then I can even do things like that. And to do that as well, I need some kind of a mixing board. Something a little bit more modern. And then I can bring my guitar in. I can make little shorts, little pieces, little segues, little bumpers, whatever. I won't have to worry about copyright issues. I can have a little bit of fun. It'll get me back into it. It'll give me something to do. Get me back into music a little bit. If I want to bring people on as a segment, because in order to use this system, I need to have everything come, all the audio and stuff has to come into one place out of that mixing board, similar to this thing here. Down here. Oh, the other camera's in the way. Oh, look. Here, wait. Now, just do this. Hold on. Let's use this thing. That's my little droid camera thing. I'll adjust it. I have to use it. It's here. Oh, there's a nice shot of the ashtray. Yeah, so this is a mixing board for video and audio. Focus. Why do you want to focus? Yeah, that's better. So that's a mixing board for audio and video, and I do some audio processing through it, but what we really need is a mixing board for audio. Just audio. Right? And then I can bring all the different media in, because the problem isn't the picture. The problem is the audio. And with StreamYard, it happens late in the signal chain. And so it's in the wrong place. It's at the end of everything. So you cannot hear any of the desktop audio stuff that I'm playing. So if I'm playing music or if, let's say I want to bring somebody up, you won't hear the audio. There's just no way without a mixing board. There's too many everything here is like back-ended in through the computer. Some of it's already in the computer. So it actually has to come out of the computer into a mixing board and then back in again. It's like wiring the back of your amp and stereo system with your surround and your TV and your 5.1 and everything is 7 point whatever. It's like wiring all of that. And I've shown some shots of what it's like back here, which is actually in Panduit and everything. It's got the wire looms and the covers, and it's actually pretty neat. But, it's doable. So it's just a little bit more money and time, and I have to wait, and then you have to test it. And then that'll get me back into music, which, by the way, Arthur, if you're listening, I'm not done yet. Give me my guitar back. Help me out, right? Because he would say to me, well, you done? Are you done with music? You're not done yet. Are you done now? You done with it? Because he gets mad. Because he really, taught me music. Big shout out to my brother, Arthur. Taught me a lot. Brought me around a lot. It was hard, too, at times, because he's older than me, and he's really good. He's a good luthier. He probably has, hundreds of guitars in his basement right now. Most of them which he made or fixed. He's also into repairing and making amplifiers, tube amplifiers. And he's a really good musician. Really good player. And it could be hard because I would get into some of these band scenarios that he would be in. And these guys are good players and they'll just mow you down. It's painful. So he would show me a lot of stuff. When you're younger, when you're real young, you can kind of get away with it because they're like, let this kid play for a little bit. But then time goes on, and you got to have to start fessing up. And he would show me a lot. But I have a learning disability. He would show me the circle of fifths and all this stuff. And I don't care. I just don't care. I just want to he'd say, well, then just learn how to make a proud noise. I'm like, that I can do. So I have a good sense of music and I have a good sense of musical notes. My pitch is pretty good, which, by the way, I think I found that website. I might want to play that later on, and we can test to see who can hear what sounds. That might actually be pretty good. We might be able to squeeze that in. It's a pretty quick little test. We could just noodle around with it and see if you can hear these sounds and what are they, and if you can hear the differences. So it's a test to see if you have perfect pitch. So he told me a lot of that shit. And, over time, I really wanted to play a lot of real heavy metal. And I did for a while, but then he's like, I think I should have just kind of melded the two, but then he got me into playing more musically oriented stuff. Not that heavy metal isn't music, but the broader nuances of music itself. And I had my moments. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I used to be way more of an OCD perfectionist kind of person. And I remember one day we were in his little studio in his house with the whole band there. And he said he threw me out. He wanted to throw me out because I was getting on his nerves so much because I was just too much of a perfectionist. He told me he was about ready to take me and all my shit out into the backyard and set me on fire and set everything on fire. That's how angry he was. I just laughed at him. I'm like, you can't, because I'm like your brother and stuff. And I love you, and you can't do that. He just went, oh, and he just walked away. And everybody was like quiet. When we were real young, I'd go over to my friend Steve's house. We'd blow a doob after school, and he had some crappy shit guitar, and he had his crappy drum set. And he would show me stuff. He couldn't play worth a damn, but he had a good set of ears, and he would be like, no, do this. And that's when I learned things that I would name them, and there was like a triplet that I used to play. It's a very common triplet. It's like the triplet for Johnny Be Good that everybody uses in everything. And I called it a ludidit because it sounded, when you played it slow, ludidit, 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 that's what it sounded like. And I'm like, well, I don't know what the notes are or anything. It's just this ludidit thing. He's like, oh, you just figured that out, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, let's see. Yeah, see, Brett says, yeah, if Angel, my nurse friend, knew I was up that late doing it, she'd wonder where I get the energy from. Yeah, absolutely. Robert says, repeat after me. Acre is one furlong, and width is one chain. Really? Brother says, holy cow, Arch, switch away from the view of that, what is it, big screen. I can't take my eyes off that fly. I know, now that I showed it to you, right? Add your laptop in for another source. Yes, I bought the cable for that. I haven't tried it yet. And that's another source that I want to bring in as well. But the audio from the HDMI comes into this box here. And that's the problem. It really needs to not go into this box. It needs to come out of that box. So I don't have any audio. That's really the problem. This box does not allow me to take audio out of it. You need the next model up. So that's more money, okay? If you're taking your laptop, the audio source can come through the HDMI, so you can get the video and the audio, but then it's going to come into here, and I can take the audio from the computer from that box here, so it goes into the computer. I can come out and into a mixing board, and then I can come in and around, and then I can have another source of video, another source of audio, and because of the mixing board, an actual mixing board, I'll be able to do things like StreamYard as well. And I'll be able to play my guitar into here, and I'll be able to hear it because I'll have another place to plug in headphones, and I'll be able to slowly over time. So, and I have to learn how to do that, even after you buy it. We gotta learn how to do all this shit. So that'll be fun, you know. So yeah, Arthur, can I have my guitar back? Yeah, let's see if I could throw him some money. What does he want? Like, he's got 1 million of them, and it was my guitar, and I used that guitar with all of those bands that I was in with him and with everybody else, and that was around forever. And since I sold the 69, which was our project together, like, I feel bad. Like, you do get a little sentimental for certain things, you know? Well, maybe he's sentimental over it. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me that, though. He wouldn't say it. So shout out to Arthur and my friend Steve. And that was fun. But, yeah, I don't really want to be done with music. I can't do it the way I used to. But I like to kind of noodle around with it again. Now, I'll show you this thing real quick. So this song is like 7/8. And it's weird because when you count it, like, I can't count music for crap, but trying to count it, let me eat this thing. They would show me how to do that, and it just didn't make any sense to me. Mostly I just hear music. And if you're playing it with other people, if you have a really solid drummer and a really solid bass guitarist, you almost can't go wrong. You can't mess with them. Like, if I were to play out of time, it wouldn't matter. It would get forced back because they wouldn't allow it. So I guess you get spoiled in that way. If I wanted to play ahead of the beat or a little bit behind the beat, they would recognize that as long as it was in a valid time signature and there was a reason for it and it felt good. So they wouldn't argue with that. So I could do that. And there were times I played, I think I played very well. I remember my friend Arthur said to me one day, because we were playing out in this one bar for a while, and he noticed that he would play a solo, and it would be very well constructed, really good solo, had some nice parts in it. He was, like I said, he was like really he got very jazz player-esque as time went on. I used to tease him about it. He says, and I would play that, and it would go over pretty good. He goes, and then you would start playing like 3 notes, and the next thing you know, people are air guitaring in front of you. It's like you would like reach in and like steal something from somebody, or whatever, and they would bounce in their head. And I remember my friend Ray would say, because they would make these really weird, ugly faces. And when we would practice in Arthur's little studio downstairs, he said, we don't need any of these sheets anymore. He's like, what we're going to do is instead of all these sheets and everything with the chords on them, he's like, we're just going to take a picture of your face when that chord or note comes up. He goes, because your face, you make a face that looks like the thing that's being played. So we're just going to take snapshots and we're going to put that right over the chord charts and just look for your face. And then we'll know what we're supposed to play. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, bro. He's like, you make some fucking crazy faces, man. He's like, why do you do that? How does that happen? I'm like, I don't know. That's just what I hear in my head, and I make the face. It just kind of happens, and I'm having a good time. And I played like next door one day. His son is a guitarist, and he plays out. He does his thing with effects boxes and whatever. I don't know. So him and his friends who are in bands and stuff, and they play around. They all set up. And he asked me if I wanted to play. I'm like, I haven't played in like forever. This is a few years back. So I started playing this song. I'm like, yeah, all right. I started playing this progression, and we warmed everybody up. And then I asked him to play a different progression, and I started playing my guitar. And later on, my neighbor comes over to me. He goes, I don't know if you know this. He's like, but even the old people that are here, he's like, when you started playing, everybody stopped talking. He says, when everybody else was playing, he says, they were talking, they were chatting, they were eating, they were mulling around. He goes, when you started playing, he goes, it was like weird. It was like a trance thing. He says, you started playing and they all stopped and they just started watching you. And I was like, really? I didn't notice anything like that. Like I just never noticed anything like that. He's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. He's like, but you have a way of capturing people's attention. And like, I didn't even think about it. I just was playing with the band and I had a really good time. And his son had like a Les Paul knockoff copy. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. And then he had another guitar, and then I had my guitar. So I actually got to play like 3 different guitars. And I really enjoyed that because, guitarists like to do stuff like that. Let me see a guitar. Right. It's kind of scary because if you pick up somebody else's guitar the way they have it set up and it's nothing like what you would do, it forces you to adapt very quickly. And sometimes it's really scary. Like you can't do anything for some reason or another. It doesn't want you. It rejects you. And other times it's like, whoa, this thing's lit. Oh my God, this thing's on fire. It's trying to get out of my hands. So check this song out. Right. So this is 7/8. Let me see. It's heavy metal, all right? Let's see if you can count it. Let's see if I can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of screwed it up there a little bit. It's kind of cool. I like what the guitar is doing in the background. Oh. Yeah. Here we go. 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't it crazy? Guys. So just to prove my point, right? Isn't that weird? And for a long time, like, I don't know if I'm actually even counting it right, because that's how like oblivious I am to things. I just know what it sounds like in my head. So when I try to say anything outside of like a guitar, I can't even speak. For years, I couldn't speak at all, because all I hear is what I'm hearing in my head, and it just sounds like sounds, So let's see if we can. We're jamming, man. Yeah. Oh, look at Ken's here. Did I reach the House of Metal? Yeah, right. You missed some of the beginning, which is pretty cool. No, we were just talking about music for the past hour. And I just wanted to show the weird time, because we were talking about some of the songs are in 7/8 and 3/4 and not just 4/4. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. Let's see, Ed says, I was checking my videos and my classic car video is still up there. I'm surprised YouTube didn't mute it. It had all kinds of good classic rock. Yeah, they won't mute it. No, they'll just won't allow you to monetize it if they hear pieces like that. Like, I get strikes all the time for things that I do. And either I edit them out or you just don't monetize it. They'll tell you what kind of a strike it is and what you can do or what their suggestions are. And most of the stuff one time I played something, it was a Saturday Night Live skit I put up. And that they just blocked. Straight up. Boom. Right. Done. Right. After the live show, I went back and looked at it. I'm like, well, I had to go find it because it was just blocked and hidden. And I just removed that section and they were happy with it. I mean, what are you going to do? It's not like a major deal. Even if it's something that sometimes they say, you can use that song, you can leave it, but you can't monetize it, whatever the wordage is. And so just turn off monetization and you'll be fine. Okay, that's fine. Or remove it or mute it. So I don't mute it because it doesn't make any sense without the words or the sounds. Let me close this out. So let me show you guys the tool. So once again, the tool, because it is getting a little late. Let me show you the tool, right? Johnny Rose says, I use all the music I can find. I'm not monetized. I don't need to be. It's just pure fun, not a job or an obligation. Yeah, I hear you. That's why, like on the lives and stuff, I don't really care. Because, I let them be monetized, and if something happens, fine. But if something, I don't want to cause any problems with YouTube either, because I say things that are very risky. But, I've been looking for music to put in the videos because I like music. And it's kind of fun trying to see if you can fit music into videos. And that's why I give a shout out to Ethan Mixell, Meixsell. I was chatting with Renegade. He's like, I don't like doing that because like some people don't like the music. Well, I don't care because, you can't make everybody happy. So I don't care. You got to be happy with what you're doing because you'll lose interest in it. And then you'll be like all those people that have been on YouTube lately that are going, I quit YouTube, so you don't want to wind up like that. And so do what makes you happy and that you keeps your interest, especially if you want to keep doing this. But I like to use a lot of the YouTube approved music. And he's like, well, then I don't like it because then if I do start to make money, they get a piece of it. Well, being a retired ex-pseudo musician, you never make any money as a musician. If I have a video where these people are on it and they start getting coin from it, I'm all for it. Right. So I look at it from that point of view. I'm like, geez, if it's like, watch Diesel Creek and his friend's band, right? His friend's band is on there all the time and other stuff too. But that's awesome that you can have that. So I look forward to, if that ever happens, I look forward to that. Yeah. Edward says, I don't do YouTube for money either. I just do it because I love doing it. Right. And you want to try to keep the love for it, the passion. If you have a passion for something, you got to find a way to use it and integrate it. Johnny Bravo says, making the videos is a fun hobby and something I'm interested in getting better at. Yeah, totally. Well, everything I do, I want to get better at, you start off doing it. What the hell do you know? Brett says, same here, Ed. Ken meet Ed. He's a buddy I went to school with. And says, greetings, Ed. Ed, this is Ken from Ken Small Engine. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ken from Ken Small Engines in the house. And go check out his channel, Ken Small Engine. I saw some of it today. I watched some of it. It was pretty good. Yeah, I was just sitting, zooming out in the background, just hanging there. I didn't even write anything. I was just like, check out some of this. And then it would disappear, and my daughter was around, and she got rug in her bedroom, and was checking out the rug and moving stuff around. I helped her paint a little bit. Well, actually, I did all the cleaning of the rollers, and I made a mess in the shop from paint everywhere because the hoses were frozen, and just didn't know anything about that. So I just discovered Luma Fusion today. Holy cow! Now I can edit, right? Right? There's so many really good editors, and like I was just mentioning too that. This camera here is my favorite handheld camera. I can run it in automatic and all of that. And this is the better camera. But the cheaper camera has this really nice automatic mode that I really like. But it shakes like a leaf on a tree. And I shake. And so I use DaVinci, and DaVinci moved their stabilization module into like the general edit area, and they made it more user-friendly. And I found it, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I can stabilize my footage, right? It crops in a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, it's made for iOS. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whatever works that you like is what I recommend, Robert says, I like playing the kick drum on the song Life's Been Good to Me. Yeah, Joel Walsh. I saw Joel Walsh too. Right? Saw him. Yep. Yeah, like the time signature is not hard to remember. Yeah. Yeah, that was... I remember I saw they came out with the big hat, right? The big, gigantic, overgrown cowboy hat. And holy crap. So, yeah, Ken, that's what we've been kind of fooling around with. Yeah, a lot of these, they have versions for it, the Android, the tablets, the laptops. That the piece that I did, the short segments that I did the medley of earlier, right? At the end, when you see Copeland, right, freaking out, give me money, right? I laid a little graphic over that, right? So when I put that together, I put that graphic over it, and it's a moving graphic, and it moves around and does all this stuff. Now, generally, I don't have a problem with it, but the music was playing, Copeland's screaming, right? And I've got this graphic and another one right behind it. And when I was rendering it out, DaVinci stopped. It failed right there every time. I tried some different settings. Now, I don't own DaVinci yet, so if you don't own it, in the free version, you can do a lot. But it castrates your computer, and I got a pretty decent computer. But it castrates it. It won't allow your video card to do processing of the video. I mean, the video cards are made to do video processing. So it won't really allow that. And when it kept coming to that part, it kept failing. So in order to put that stupid graphic in, because my computer was like literally pinned out. I brought up Task Monitor and Resource Monitor and Performance Monitor, and I just was trying to render that one section just to see what was going on. I'm looking over at this. And I'm going, wow, I'm like totally pinning out my CPU. It wouldn't do it. It just wouldn't do it. So I saved that whole video segment without that graphic. I'm like, well, I like that graphic. I like the money, right? I like that. That's another good song. And I burned it off and then brought it back into DaVinci, and I just added those two graphics in, and it was fine. Like I hit the limit right there. Right? I was like, wow, you just hit a wall, bro. Nice. That means I'm fooling around, having a good time. Let's see. Brett says, look up for one called Perfect Video for iOS. That's what we use for my videos. Ed says, the very first video I ever did on YouTube was a video review of Twilight Zone original series on Blu-ray. Sweet. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Ken says, I'm no dummy. AS, BS, MBA, but editing, I suck. Yeah, because we all have things that are like a little iffy. Everybody's got it. All something. It's like I was saying earlier. Like, it's just, circle of fifths. Like, I can get the math. I kind of understand it, but it took me years to even just understand what I was playing, and I still don't. I remember that one bar that we were playing out with. It wasn't even all that long ago. And there was some guys that showed up because Arthur knew all of these hot cats that played really good. And we were in the bar, we're playing live. And they show up and they're getting ready to play. And they're asking me questions because they don't know me. I'm like, who is this guy? And they start barking out, we're going to play this tune. And they start barking out, I don't know, E minor 9/7, major flat 9, D, add, something, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Right? They tell me to play these chords, and Arthur starts snickering in the way that he does. And he looked at the guys, he goes, he doesn't know what you're talking about. And I could see they were like, because we're gonna play this in front of people, and the look on their face, which I've seen before, is fright. They're like, oh my God, how long has he been playing? He's like, no, don't worry about it. He's like, you just got to show him your guitar every now and then. Just show him your hands every now and then. If he's looking over at you in a certain way, you'll get it. And they were even more frightened because that's the problem. Like he always told me, he's like, you can't really play with too many other people because they won't tolerate that. You have to be able to communicate. And I can't. I really can't communicate. So yeah, I played fine. And every now and then, either I'd look at Arthur or they would look at me, and I'd be like, oh, I know what to do. Yeah. It didn't really. With that many other people playing, it's not that important. It's a jam. And, again, if you know where to stay out, because if you're like the third or fourth guitarist standing up there playing with other people, you don't play the whole time anyway, unless you're the guy that has to play the whole time. It's different. Let's see. Wait. Let's see. Evan says, wonder if I would get in trouble by doing a video slideshow of the upcoming eclipse to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon in the background. Try it. I'll do that too sometimes. I'll take a little short piece of something that I wasn't sure, especially when I first started doing this. I just grab that piece, I upload it to YouTube, and I click on everything I'm supposed to click on, and I leave it. And if it kicks it back or like a little while after I upload and it's all done, it'll tell me, you can tell, did it pass, did it work, did you get any like warning messages? So I'll do stuff like that every now and then, especially when I was learning. It says, I used to edit the old school way long before YouTube. Yeah, tapes. Yeah, we were talking about that. Ken says, both my kids play instruments. I can only play with myself. Nice. Right. Can you play Far, Far Away? I had old gear, 2 playback decks, 1 through mixer, then into a tiller, and finally a high-end, what's a tiller? High-end editing VR, yeah. A titler, yeah, the titler, yeah. Yeah, all that. I like this stuff better. The digital editing is awesome. I'm totally into it. I love it. I have a good time with it. Yeah, let me show you the tool. Let's go to the tool. Let's see. I gotta find all those little pieces. The tool. All right, so I covered just about everything I wanted to cover. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, I just started loading up some of this stuff today, like putting it. I moved a whole bunch of stuff around because I ran out of room. I was telling you, that's how I found a lot of this crap. And I started moving some stuff around. I'm like, okay, I'm almost done with the mini bike. All right, here we go. Let's see, what should I show you first? Let's see, let's go over to this monitor. Yeah, there we go. There's some audio. Let's see, so yeah, I might as well just run some of the intro part. Well, let's see what we wound pulling in material like this. Yeah, here we go. Now you'll see. Ran this drill we wound up with. So I ran this drill through. Maybe this isn't the first one. Oh yeah, it's not. Where is all the other stuff? This is a little bit later. Yeah, I'll just browse around. Yeah, did I move some other stuff out of the way? Oh, it's not there. Yeah, I might have moved it. into a different spot. That is the OBS stuff, though. Is this it? This might be a good shot. Here's a shot of me. You'll see it here. This might have been the first time I was fooling around with it. Okay. Lug. Grab the cable. Support the cable. Yeah, you'll see it. I think this is the second time I did it. I'm just going to scroll through this shit. Oh, yeah, here we go. It will. Yeah, I think this is the second time. Because I modified the tool a little bit. Now you guys should be able to guess what I'm doing. See how it's falling in? All right, we got a burble on the top. Yeah, I love reading the vernier. A little bubble. I have micrometers too, but you don't need that for most things. That's in the engine world. Kind of suck down a little bit, flatten out. Isn't that nice? But we got a lot of room to let's see. With. Yeah, let's see what the finished product is. I got some good shots. I had to modify it a little bit, and I came back at it. I think you might see it here. Maybe this one. Yeah, we're going to drive it out. So now you're going to see using this. Remember, this is not edited, so it's all raw footage. Look. Close. See it? Nice. Now you know what it is? All right. And it collapses because when it's hot, it'll expand, and then as it cools, it will shrink. Now we're going to drive it out. We're in there. About midway, right? We're down. The cable is down in that spot we made. So let's see what the next one is. Yeah, okay. Wait, hold on. I mean, we could leave the tip, or we could get rid of the tip. It doesn't really matter. There's not much to that tip. I think we should grind it off and just make it a sacrificial bit. But going down. Oh, here it comes. There we go. Wow. Wow. Well, let's get the tool out. I mean, because you can use the bit to clean, chuck it back up. Hey? Pull out any junk out of it. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's re-aim. Gotta re-aim the camera. Hold on. Here we go. Here's the notch. So I cut a notch in it because you have to set the depth. I'm just talking about the notch. So if you, I did this so if somebody wants to, build the tool. And you guys are like, well, hold on, let me see. Look at the size of that lug. So that's almost perfect, fellas. Look at that lug. And it's on there. Now let me just clean it up. Oh, that lug looks great. Yeah, that's sweet. Let me find the finished part. Let's see. Is this it? This might be it. Some of the stuff is out of order, so I don't remember. Yeah, I think this might be it. Again, it's all raw footage. So I kind of like. Oh wait, here we go. I turn it. It doesn't. Okay, hot minute. And there's room in here now. See this play. And of course, when I turn it, it doesn't hit any of these indents. And that's it. And it actually sits a little bit proud. Just a scotch proud. So there's not much to this plastic. So I kind of like that. You can adjust it to your settings, but it sits just a touch proud. It goes right in. So this is the old handle. Comes out, fits in there nice. Look how nice that came. Right? It's not like sloppy or anything. That's the vernier, right? And, you know, the calipers. I wanted to make a good cast. Yep, making barrel ends. Yep. It's used in automotive too. Is you know, there are some situations. Tomorrow, but she's beautiful. Comes around this way, and again, she goes like this, I think, because it comes in and through there somewhere. But anyway, you know, we'll it's getting late. I'm getting tired. She glides through, no problem. It was late. Yeah, that's so sweet. We're going to cut this end off. That was the first try, which was solid, but I didn't like the looks of it. And it was the very... It worked right out of the box. Let me come back. It worked right out of the box. But I didn't like the end. You know, and one of the things that happened was, well, that tool stayed hot for a while, and I walked away for what I thought was a while, but you know, you get impatient. Well, I went to go and like pick it up and lift it up, and it was still molten in there. It was, you know, I used 50-50 tin and lead, and the cable came up, and I'm like, uh-oh, and I kind of shoved it back down there, and I walked away, and I came back, and I'm like, there's a little end coming out, and I'm like, you know what, let's modify the tool. I put a notch on the bit here because you need to have this. You need a stopper in the bottom, and you also need a drift or a driver to punch it out. Piece of stainless bolt. And I'm like, well, I want to set the depth on a fixture. So I measured all that out the second time, so I know how to set it. You can adjust the depth a little bit. And filled it up and then knocked it through, as you saw, and I just adjusted the ends. And it's tin and lead, so I just quick on the file with a file by hand, real fast. Takes material off real quick with a bastard file. Get it to the size you want. You kind of want it a little bit bigger. I thought, well, the first time out, we'll really make a tool where it makes it a little bit bigger. And that'll, because might be some applications where I want the barrel ends a little bit wider. And then I'll hand fit. So that's what I wound up doing because I needed a custom length cable. I bought a new cable because the original cable was lock solid. I was thinking, well, if I could get the cable out from the sheath, I might be able to reuse it because the sheath looked like it was okay. No. Wasn't coming out. I'm like, so I bought a whole new assembly, both sides. These are a little bit beat up. I'm like, I'll get some new, come with the cable, but I didn't realize the cable insert inside just wasn't long enough for what I made. And if you want to see what I made, check this out. Like, I need a custom cable. So I got stainless inserts. Let's see if I show that. Do I have it? I don't know if I actually have it here yet. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That might be it. Well, let me just bring it up. So this is the throttle, yeah. So this is on my crappy little cell phone camera because I took some shots with the other cameras, but I'm like, I can stick my cell phone in here closer. So let me just run those shots off before I get ahead of myself. So I'll put that up. Close up with this cheaper camera here, but you can just see the layout. If I can kind of hold it steady. And see, there's where our cable's going to come in. And of course, when we push that, which is actually being pulled by the throttle cable and the twist grip. Okay. And I got to tighten everything up, but not now, right? Because it's going to be a little bit of an assembly, you know, to put everything kind of together at once. But once it's together, it's not a problem. We could see a little bit more up here. So turn the engine on, throttle up, engine down, throttle off. Right, kill switch for now. Also the kill switch on the handlebar. Closed position. The choke is a bit of an issue, but you could see. We'll deal with that later. Right, it's closed. When we pull the throttle, she goes all the way open. And then, of course, down here, right, this is our throttle stop, which we haven't engaged yet. I just pulled it out of the way, so I know I'm getting full throttle. Do I have the light on here? Hold on, let me see. I don't think I turned the light on. You know, I got the little flash on, and you might be able to see a bit more. There's our throttle stop. We got a nut down there we have to put on. It's way down here. The other one's just on for now. And I know there's a lot of stuff in the way, and it may be difficult to focus. But we could see a little bit more about it. This is where the cable comes in. And if you look, the cable, when it comes in, it's gonna be nice. Like, we can fashion that around. You'll see, I laid it nice out. and tight. It fits nice and tight out of the way without
Again.
binding. I'm not done yet. Let's go around the other side with the light on. Yeah, sorry, it's shaky because it's raw footage. So when it gets pulled in, all right, let me get back to work. Yeah, all right, I'm coming back. Yeah, I just started pulling together the footage for it, so I have other footage, but I'm not sure exactly where it is. I hope I didn't lose it. It always scares me because I'm like, I was kind of doing this while I was watching Ken Small Engines today, and I was tired. And that scares me. When I get tired and flaky, I scare myself because that's when I can lose shit. I'm not really paying attention. So I was just sitting here listening, and then every now and then I fool around and move some files. I did some the other night. And I gotta be careful when I hit the delete button because you could really screw yourself over. So let me catch up with you guys. If John Barber says, I have one of those titlers. Ken says, yeah, he goes, reading Vernia Cow for old school. Yep. Yeah, that's me. I learned in 7th grade, I think it was, in shop class. I thought it was easy. Everybody was like, I don't know what this means. My brothers actually showed me how to use a slide rule when I was a kid. I don't remember now, but I don't remember it being all that hard. But then again, I wasn't in engineering school, with all that crap. Johnny Burns is never going to be good with it, though. Yeah. His press says, I got pretty good, but it took a lot of practice. It's always practice. Bravo says, back then, I was using it with 2 SVHS VCRs to make family videos. Yeah, that was a lot of work. Well, I took that in school, all that stuff. I actually went to school for that. Communications courses, too, I took in college for a little while. And I'm like, I was like, the only place I can go to get a job is either way upstate, bumfuck Yukistan, somewhere in the United States, some little station somewhere. That's how you have to do it. Brett says, I had 2 VHS machines and a high 8 VCR camcorder. I have the high 8. I'll dig it out. I'll next live, I'll bring it out. I don't think I'm going to plug it in and use it or whatever, but I'll just show you. I still have it. Ken says, nice for motorcycle car. Yeah. Well, as you saw it for the mini bike, but yeah, motorcycle carbs and stuff like that. And you could make them to any size, but I think that's like the common barrel size. And I just wanted something that was a little bit more precision. And I didn't mind, adjusting the ends, but I was a little fussy about the precision because I didn't want it to fit in there sloppy. And I didn't want it to be too tight either because it's going into plastic, and I didn't want to have to mash plastic or anything. I just think it would break. So I started to OCD, because that's how I am, over the sizing. Yeah, Brett says, yep, making barrel ends to throttle cables. And says, nice work, Arch. Necessity is the mother of... Yes, it is, totally. And that's why I wish I had... like the lathe and a small turret mill press or something, because I can think differently. Like drilling this out, I would have done it differently if it was on a lathe, but I had to do it on my drill press, and I got close enough, and on mowers, some weed eaters use those and throttle trigger end, yup. So I'm like, at least if I want to make another one, that's maybe the barrel end is a different size, at least making this one, I kind of am more comfortable with exactly what I need to do. And it's not hard. It's just the figuring out part is what took me for a while, The kid says, he goes, I've jammed screws into coupling nuts and then machined them down. He goes, I like your tool better. That works too. There's a lot of ways of doing something like this. So I thought about it. I'm like, I've been wanting something like a tool. There are crimp ends. There are a number of things you can use. Like, I just wanted something that I could make and have the fun making it, maybe make a video on it. And I want to do a little bit more of this kind of stuff. I've actually turned some of it away. And I thought, well, no, I want to do this. Why can't I do this? You know? Edward says, oh, I'm going to go put my bones to bed now. I got a busy day ahead of me. Yeah, we're about ready to get off. We're at 3 hours, so it's this is night, Ed. We need to see Ed's video before he leaves. No, that'll have to be next time. Ask Vivor for a mini lathe in exchange for a video review. Right? I know, Ken. I didn't get to the battery either because I mentioned earlier that the lithium battery. So I'll just mention it real quick and we'll look at it next week. But the company must have sent it out. They never sent me any notice or anything, and it must have took the slow boat from China. But lithium battery of the size that for tractors and even certain motorcycles, and I think it might even fit in my booster box, a jump pack, and lithium ion. And you guys may know, and I often say it, I love that technology. I think it's really good. It's just the wrong technology for cars and trucks and stuff. If you guys remember back, oh God, when was it? Chrysler had the turbine car, right? And there was quite a number of those different designs for cars and automobiles over the years. Chrysler did a terrific job, but it's the wrong technology for that. Okay, it just is. And I feel the same way about, scaling it up. It might be the lithium battery is the wrong technology. It certainly is, but maybe one day there'll be something else. But for all of this other stuff, fellas, it's awesome. So I'll leave you guys with that. And I definitely like the idea of contacting Vivor. I know Renegade does a lot of stuff, and some of you guys have been playing around with it. Yeah, I'm going to TJ. Oh, morning, TG. And it comes easy this morning. All right, I'm out of here. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Go back and check out some of the shorts that I did earlier, or if you want to see me playing my guitar and making a lot of noise. Thanks to everybody that came, my daughter as well. And shout out to everybody, including my friends that have taught me how to play over the years. And I defied them at every turn and, would hate on it and gave such a hard time. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping in. Later.